Well, it's Friday. It is the Realtor Internet Marketing Academy, class number one. Exciting to be here today. It's also a great time to be thinking about 2019. We're entering into the fall market. Now is the time to work on strategies, marketing strategies. They're going to help to double or increase your business next year. So we're starting with class number one. It's going to be an introduction, an overview of some of the marketing tools that you guys should be working with. As you finish out this year, it's also tools that you should be working with for next year. And we're going to go through what's called the killer listing presentation. There's 7 steps involved in the killer listing presentation. If you follow those 7 steps, and there's a little follow-up document, a little 34-page follow-up document that we're going to go through today, you should be able to win every listing presentation. Our goal here throughout these 8 classes is to help you get in front of more people. You know, that's why I started with class number one. If you get in front of people, I want you to have confidence that you will win a listing presentation. And then other classes are going to be about, getting you in front of people, whether it's through Facebook ads and getting people that, want to know more about what their home is worth, or, getting you in front of expireds, or getting you in front of FSBOs. Those are all going to be things that we're going to be working with in future classes. So welcome to the Realtor Internet Marketing Academy. We do have an agenda here today. The first is kind of an introduction of attendees. Does everybody know each other here? Richard, you do know Kenneth?
Well, just only from this morning.
Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Kenneth, I'm Richard Pollard. I've been with the Homebuyer now for, I don't know, a few months.
Gotcha.
Before that, I was essentially 21.
Awesome. Yes, indeed. I said I'm Kenneth Johnson. Actually, work right down the street here at Keller Williams Infinity here in Naperville as well. Yes, indeed.
Hi, I'm Kelly Hayes.
Kelly Hayes.
I'm with HomeSmart for, I don't know, about a year, I think.
Been in the business for a while.
30-ish.
My goodness, you don't look more than 21.
I know, and I just get better every day. So,
Absolutely.
and I've attended Glenn's classes. They're excellent. And I am kind of like, okay, it's like I sort of was on hold for a while. So now I'm kind of back, and I'm like, how do I do that again? So Here I am.
And hopefully the recording of this will help too,
Yeah.
for everybody, for all of us, because I think that's one of the missing elements was to record these classes, because there is a lot of material that comes at you like a fire hose, and so it'd be well worth being able to refresh your memory and go back to it.
Yeah.
Next on the agenda is really to introduce me. Many of you know me as Glenn Marino. I'm both the branch manager of First Centennial. I'm also the chief strategist of Free Help for Illinois Real Estate Agents. My classes are free. Most of everything I give to you or show you is with free software, free strategies. Periodically, there's a sign writer or something like that you might have to purchase, but most of the products, most of the material is going to be free. I'm a CPA by background. I audited banks for many, many years in my younger days. I was a chief financial officer for the largest savings and loan in the state of Wisconsin, and I ended up managing 4 of their largest subsidiaries, a leasing subsidiary, an insurance agency subsidiary, a mortgage banking subsidiary out of St. Louis, and I had a great time with it. I might have still been there to this day, except that I'm a very moral and ethical person, and when they did something that I thought was not proper to my mentor, I resigned on the spot. And I came back down here and I started buying banks with investors. I bought 4 banks. So by way of my background, I bought 4 banks. I was president and co-chairman of 4 banks, and sold them. And then, as bigger banks started to buy up the smaller banks, we sold them and made some money. And then I had decided to, what am I going to do when I grow up? I kind of said to my wife, I said, what should I do? And I said, I didn't like in banking the safety deposit boxes and overdrafts, but I always liked lending. I always liked, getting people into housing, kind of like your passions are. You get people into houses, you try and help them achieve the American dream. And that was kind of what I like. So that's why I got into the mortgage banking business, and I've been in that for like the last 24 years. So, Yeah, it's been a great ride for me. Um,
And you don't look that old either.
That's right. At least I don't act that old.
Right. That's
there,
it.
there was a point in time where I had black hair, and now it's a little grayer. So, one of the things that I wanted to bring to your attention as you start going forward, one of the biggest markets we have out there for putting people into housing is the first-time home buyer market. When you look at all the other markets, the resale market, et cetera, it's not as robust. The volume is not as great as the first-time home buyer market. And if we can start thinking along the lines of how can we get our arms around, or how can we communicate, how can we brand ourselves as being people that can get somebody into a house for 1% of the purchase price? I mean, that's a huge door opener, because you got to remember, the people that are first-time home buyers, they think there's lots of money that you have to save up. If you ask the average person on the street, how much money do I need for a down payment? It's going to be, you'll be shocked, 5, 10, 20% down. And when you tell them 1%, they're going, 1%? That's just so strange to them. So one of the things that I want you to do on your agenda, which is number 4, is let's just go take a look real quickly at the IDA flyer. Let's make sure that you guys are fully armed. This has 3 new programs. It came out in February of 2018. There's a $6,000 program, a $7,500 program, and a $10,000 program. 2 great things that came about in this year. The first-time home buyer used to be restricted to about 7 different counties. Now it's every county in Illinois, and it's for existing homeowners. So again, you guys are serving, say, the western suburbs, so to speak. But there's a lot of millenniums who are in the Chicagoland area who find the girl of their dreams. They start to have children. That 1-bedroom condo that they bought when they graduated from college, it's got toys all over the place. They got a child, they got a wife, and they're going, you know what? We're running out of space. We got to get out of the 1-bedroom condo, and we need to, we don't like necessarily the Chicago school system. We want to come out to the suburbs for a better schooling system. And so when they're coming out here, they may not necessarily have a lot of equity coming out of that 1-bedroom condo. Again, this program, the IDA program, is for existing homeowners, just as we were talking about, and first-time home buyers. The $6,000 program, let me back up too. So it's in other words, it's everybody, right? You're either an existing homeowner or you're a first-time home buyer. And then the income has to be greater than under 101,520, under 101,520 in Cook County and the surrounding collar counties. There are other counties that have other income limitations, but for the most part, what you're going to run into is anybody household income under 101,520. I don't know about you guys, but I would think that there's a lot of people that meet that criteria of making less than 101,520 bucks. Plus, they need to have a credit score of 640 or better. So, 640 or better. Again, a lot of landlords, if they're renters, that's where they're looking to. They want them at 640 or better.
I've seen some as high as
Okay,
680
so
for rent, and I was like, how in the world are you going to do that for rent? And I could tell my clients, hey, if you're over, 640, you might as well go ahead and, and purchase a home.
yeah, and again, you're leading into my next handout for you guys, and that is that 3 buckets of cash, showing them that because we
The
have
money that they need for down payment for a rental.
yeah, right, because all they think they're safe in their 8th grade mentality. And I always try to communicate on an 8th grader's mentality. If I can communicate like that, people will understand it. If I talk over their head, they can't make a decision. They're still confused. But what I'm saying is they understand the landlord says, I want first month's rent, I want a security deposit. That's a safe haven for them. They get it. They understand what their risk is, how much money they might be coming out of their savings or checking account. But when you talk about buying a house, and if you don't put it into a cheat sheet, which we'll go to shortly, and show them the 3 buckets of cash, down payment, closing costs, and escrows, how can they explain it to their spouse? How can they explain it to their mom, to their dad, to their financial advisor, to their best friend that they work out with? Oh, you're buying a house? Well, how much money do you have to put down? What are the closing costs? I mean, we deal with it every day. They don't. So what we got to do is help them, give them a little cheat sheet. So let's go back to the dollars that they can. The $6,000 under this IDA program is a forgivable grant. Grant, the word grant means it's money given, money not expected to be paid back. There's no obligation to pay it back, but it's a forgivable grant. So forgivable means that it's forgiven over 10 years. So if you don't stay in the house for 10 years, then a portion of it will get paid back when you sell the house.
What portion?
Well, let's use an example. Let's say you buy a house, you stay in it for 6 years. You buy a 3-bedroom, or you now need to move up to a 4-bedroom, so you're going to sell the 3-bedroom, or you bought a 2-bedroom, move up to the 4-bedroom, or you just got a job offer that requires you to move from, say, Naperville to Orland Park. Okay, good reason to sell the house. You've been in for 6 years, so 6 years the state of Illinois forgave 6/10 of that $6,000. So $4,000 got forgiven, Richard, right? You got $2,000 still remaining. So when your attorney for the sale, he's going to go to your first mortgage lender and say, hey, give me a payoff letter. He's also going to go to the state of Illinois and say, hey, you have a lien on my client's property. He's selling it. Correct. Give me a payoff letter. So out of sales proceeds, the first mortgage will get paid off, and the second mortgage of the $2,000 will get paid off. Okay. The second, and again, if you look here, it says it's up to 4% of the purchase price. Well, what is 4% of 150,000? It's $6,000. So what they're saying is anything above 150,000 or above, they get the full 6,000. If it's under 150, then you just take 4% of the purchase price. But I don't know about you guys, but most of my transactions are 150,000 or more, so everybody can get to the 6,000. The 7,500, the middle one, is what I call a crazy good one. Crazy good down payment assistance. I'll give you $7,500. I'll charge you 0 interest. And I will not ask you for a payment for 30 years or until you sell the house. So in other words, I meet you, we're talking about housing. I'll give you $7,500, Richard. Go buy your house. Don't have to pay me anything back until you sell the house. Deal. I'm in. I wish I had that when I was a younger man. You give me $7,500 and I don't have to pay a penny until I sell the house again. That's a great deal. And that there's no interest accumulating while I'm using the money. It is fantastic. Hey Grant, how are you, buddy?
Sorry, I'm late.
Good to see you.
You as well.
Let me get, if you guys would pass this on down to. We're just going over some tools that you guys are going to need for 2018, 2019, and we're on the IDA program right now.
Okay.
And on the last program, the $10,000 one, very similar to the $7,500. It's a 0 interest loan. I'm going to give you 10 grand. However, you have to pay back principal over a 10-year period, not interest, principal. And when you divide 120 months, which is 10 years, into 10,000, you get $83.33. So again, here you are, somebody that's renting, somebody that's got $1,500 in a security deposit, $1,500 in first month's rent, $3,000, and they don't have the down payment, they don't have the closing costs. And so I say to them, how much does it cost you to take out your significant other on a nice dinner? Glass of wine, nice meal. What would it cost the two of you? The answer would come back 60, 80, $100. Cool. I said, what if you gave out one of those meals a month? And I give you 10 grand so you can buy a house. Would you give up one meal a month for that? You go, deal, done. Let's go look at housing. I mean, there isn't a person that I've ever met in the last several years that has said, oh, Glenn, I got to pay back $83. I'm sorry, I don't want to do this. They want the $10,000. And the cool thing is this $10,000 has not been on the plate. Before it was $7,500 was the maximum under the down payment assistance. When they raised it now as of February to $10,000, you'll see in the next handout that it gets everybody in for 1% of the purchase price. So I'm like, man, I'd be putting that into every one of my open houses. I'd be putting it into my MLS. The max purchase price that's eligible under this program for single family is like $336,000. So if you have any listings under 336 or less, why aren't you putting into your MLS comments, this house is eligible for down payment assistance where you would only have to put down 1%. I think people would pay more attention to your listing if they could look at possibly buying it for 1% of the purchase price. So, any questions on IDA down payment
What's
assistance?
the maximum again?
But $336,000 is the for single family. Here's the sleeper, guys, too, on this. Right now, where interest rates are, if somebody were to buy, say, around a $200,000 home, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, the whole payment's going to be about $1,800. If for some reason somebody says, "Oh boy, I was paying rent of $1,500, I was paying rent of $1,200, $1,800 is just going to kill me." The IDA down payment assistance program works for 2 units also. Whenever we have anybody who says, that payment's just a little bit outside my comfort zone. We said, if you get a 2 unit, you get rental income off the second unit. Your $1,800 payment, if you're renting that other unit for $900, your payment just got reduced to $900. Your 18 minus 900 is $900. Can you handle $900? And oh, by the way, we still give you $10,000 for the down payment assistance. They're like, when can we go shopping? This sounds great. But again, you guys need to know that, so that when you're out there meeting and greeting and talking to people, that that it's good for 1 and 2 units. And if anybody ever starts to balk over, the amount of the payment, have them look at 2 units, okay?
And I'm sorry.
Sure.
I blonded out there for a minute, but you said go back to
That
the
was blonded, right?
The $1,800 payment is on what?
It's on a $200,000 purchase.
Okay, thank you.
You'd get about, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance would be about $1,800. And if somebody says, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable with that because I haven't been paying that,
Right.
you say, even though you guys know enough that, the mortgage interest is tax deductible, the real estate taxes are tax deductible up to $10,000. Someone who's buying a $250,000 home, their taxes are not over $10,000, so they're still going to get the tax deduction. So the $1,800 on an after-tax basis, could be down to as low as say $1,500, but still, it's not if they were renting for $1,200, it might make them feel a little bit uncomfortable, and a 2 unit would be a perfect option for them. Okay. All right. Number 5, 3 buckets of cash. Let's take a look at that. We just talked about, and again, if you want, the reason I want those agendas, not now, but at the end of the class here, I want those agendas back. If you want that flyer that we had up there, the three IDA programs, if you want your picture, if you want it co-branded, let me just go back to it for a quick second. If you want this co-branded down here, you see where this big white space is? We move that first centennial over and we got this big white space. If you guys and lady want this, you need to circle it on the agenda and say yes in the margin that you want it co-branded, because I'll collect those, put your name on the agenda, and then Ben will co-brand it in your name, okay? Second one that we're going to ask whether or not you want it co-branded, because I staple that IDA flyer to this next one, the 3 buckets of cash needed at closing. The 3 buckets of cash at closing, again, goes back to anything in these gray boxes, you as realtors can change the inputs. So this happens to be $200,000. There is the down payment up there says they could go with 3%, 3.5%, or 5%. Since we don't know their credit score really at this point in time, just trying to demonstrate to them how they could purchase a home for 1%, we go with the middle of the road, 3.5%. There's your 3 different IDA program. What's the down payment assistance program? It could be 10, 7,500, or 6. I always start out with 10. And you're going to see why in a second. The average closing costs are going to be about $5,000. And so then what we do is we compare what they know. They know as the 8th grader inside their head says, I understand my first month's rent, my security deposit of $1,500 to $1,500, I got $3,000. That's whether the landlord says, I'm not going to renew your lease with you, they haven't had the best relationship, or they don't like the neighborhood, they don't like what's changing, or the kids are getting to a point where they need to go to a school, the school's too far away, they want to move to be closer to school, so they're moving. The renter has that $3,000 sitting in the bank, so they got $3,000. Now it's a matter of, but then when you all of a sudden start saying now on but why aren't you thinking about becoming a homeowner? Well, I don't think 3 grand is going to make it. And you go, well, let's take a look at it. You have to start talking about every real estate transaction as 3 buckets of cash: down payment, closing costs, and escrows. And they're documented here. So if you look up there, down payment is bucket 1. You always have to ask who pays. Well, the down payment, what's 3.5% of 200,000? That's 7 grand. Well, when you tell them the down payment is 7 grand, what do you think the guy who's got $3,000 in the bank says?
I only have 3,000.
Yeah, can't buy. Says, go show me some rental units. Can't buy. And you say, but the good news is, if you have a 640 or better score, which you've told me because we're going to go look at rental units, and you tell me your household income is under 101,520, I got good news. You have up to $10,000 that I can get you in down payment assistance. So let's use, you must put in 1% of your own funds. So if you notice up there, we put there 1% of 200,000 is 2 grand. So now you got 2,000 of the 7,000. The other 5,000 comes from IDA, comes from the down payment assistance program. So you got 5 and 2 is 7, put a big check mark and you say you got all the money. So to your client, you say, how much were you out of pocket? Oh, 2 grand only, not the 7. And the 5 came from the down payment assistance. Pretty cool. Then you go, okay, let's go to bucket number 2, closing costs. Then you tell them, well, the closing costs are going to be 5 grand. He goes, maybe you didn't hear me. I don't have 5 grand. I only have 3. You say, no problem. How much of the down? I got 5 left in the down payment assistance. So you can put the whole $5,000 from IDA in there, put a check mark, and you got all the funds. Now, like yesterday, one of the realtors that I was working with, the seller was going to give them $3,500. It's actually in the remarks in the MLS. Seller giving credit for closing costs of $3,500. Well, if that were the case in this example, if we put in $3,500, notice how the system automatically changes IDA to $1,500. You still got your $5,000, but now think of this. You used how much in bucket number 1, closing costs? You're right. Closing costs was 15. Down payment was 5 grand that you used from IDA. 5,000 and 1,500 is only 6,500. You no longer need 10. 10 required the $83 in payment. Now you can move your client over to the 7,500 because you as realtors, you negotiated that the seller's going to give them closing cost credit. Now they only need either 75. What do we know about the 7,500? It's crazy good. There is no payment for 30 years or until the house gets sold. So now he can go out on that extra dinner with his significant other. Now all of a sudden you've changed him from making an $83 a month payment to nothing. And if you want, you can move him all the way over to 6,000 and ask if he can put in an extra 500 because you're asking for down payment assistance of 6,500. You could talk to him about the grant, which is just forgivable over a 10-year period. So either one, but the important news is you moved him off of a $10,000 down payment assistance because you as realtors negotiated that the seller was going to pay some closing costs. And what do you think the client thinks of you guys? He thinks you guys are pretty dang smart. He thinks you guys are referable. He thinks that he should tell his friends and his family about you guys because you guys are very innovative in helping them get into housing. The last bucket is escrows for real estate taxes and homeowner insurance. In the state of Illinois, when do we pay our real estate taxes? In arrears. So in 2018, we're not going to pay our taxes until 2019. If all of us in this room have a closing on October 31st, that's 10 months out of the year. Who lived in the house for the first 10 months? Seller. So the seller has to give our client, they have to give our client 10 months of real estate taxes as a credit. The good news is the credit always is greater than what the lender is asking them to put up at closing to initially set up their real estate escrow and their homeowner's insurance escrow. So bucket number 3 of escrows, it's real easy. The seller credit for the real estate tax credit funds that bucket, so our client's out $0. Always. Unless the only exception to that, Richard, would be if it's new construction, because the previous year new construction was dirt, and your credit is going to be dirt. So you're going to get dirt for a credit. So yeah, in that case, you won't get the big credit. But 999 out of 1,000 of my transactions are existing housing, and the client is getting a real estate tax credit from the seller. Always exceeds what the lender's asking. So that's zero. Second bucket is closing costs. Who pays the closing costs in this example? Ida and the seller. So we got our customer came up with how much for the closing costs? Nothing. So zero in bucket three, zero in bucket two. Bucket one was down payment, was $7,000. How much did our client come up with in bucket one? $2,000 or 1%. And if you guys are really cool and smart about it, what if you guys put that $2,000 in as your earnest money in the initial contract? How much would the client then have to come to closing with, say, 30 or 45 days later? Zero. Because they put their 1% in up front as earnest money. How do you think they're gonna feel when all of a sudden they call up, the processor and say, hey, how much? They call up my Blanca, and Blanca says, yeah, you're clear to close, and the check you need to bring to closing is zero. They're gonna go, man, that Grant Griffith, he's a smart guy. I love that guy. You guys look like you guys are geniuses. And when do you want another big wow? You want it at the closing. Wouldn't that be kind of cool to have them bring nothing to closing?
Isn't that sort of saying that you're going to get the seller to come with money at closing for him, to give him
Well, it's coming out
cost credit?
Well, it comes out of sales proceeds.
Yeah, but I mean, you're saying $3,500. Does that make the 1% only because that $3,500 is coming from the seller?
No, because again, go back here. Say in this case, let's put zero back in there. The seller's given nothing.
Okay, nothing.
So then you've
That's
got
typical.
it can
That
be,
is
yeah.
typical.
Yeah, it can be. And again,
But
you
you
can
can be creative with the seller too.
Yeah.
But what he's saying too is the realtor example he had yesterday is sometimes they put it in the market.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've also had realtors do this where they say the buyer and the seller get their table of expectation met. You're selling a house for 210, they get an offer of 195. They come back to 205, they come up to 195. The parties meet in the middle at 200,000. The table of expectation has been met. Who puts the real estate contract together for their transaction? The buyer's agent. You guys as buyer's agent, you're starting to ink it in, and you stop and you call the seller's agent and you say, hey, Myrtle, guess what? My client does not want to pay $200,000. And they go, what do you mean, Richard? We just got done negotiating. We just agreed it was $200,000. Nope, my client doesn't want to pay $200,000. He wants to pay $203,500, provided your client pays $3,500 in closing costs. You cannot do this strategy of bumping up the price until you have a table of expectation, until the numbers stop moving. When they finally have it nailed down, and now you as a buyer's agent are inking the contract, and you call over and you bump the price up, to the seller's going to go, let me see, 203,500 minus 3,500. That's 200,000. I'm okay. They go to their accountant, they go to their attorney, they go to their wife, they go to their best friend.
Legal though?
Yeah.
It's all legal because you haven't put it on a contract yet. Thank you. That's the only thing you as realtors have to make sure that if you bump it up. Correct.
Then they agreed on 195.
Well, they agreed at 200. They agreed at 200. We bumped it up to 200. But that's what I'm saying. If you feel as a realtor that there's room to bump it up, you can make this happen.
And
in this,
you would call Myrtle and say, Myrtle, look, here's what I'm going to do. I need, my buyer needs some cash to come to close. We've already agreed on 200. So we're going to go to 203. Is that okay with you guys? You're still getting your 200.
And the realtors actually like it because they're getting a commission on 203, not 200.
Yeah.
The seller likes it because they're still getting their net 200, and the buyer likes it because they're not coming out of pocket for the closing costs. So it's a win-win-win all the way around. Use that strategy whenever you see that opportunity.
I think
Yes.
one of the things for me, I just finished this one deal that's closing on the 24th, and the list price was, like you said, like 149. So I kind of negotiated in there and said, why don't I offer you 110, but get you 5,000 at closing? So we offer 110 with 5,000 at closing. The seller, of course, was ecstatic because we gave them just a little bit over list price, but yet and still, my buyers are happy because now they're not having to come with.
Well, you saved them. You saved them. They kept 5,000 in their savings account because of what you did. Because that 5,000 has to get paid by somebody.
Yeah.
If you look at the entities, one of them is the borrower up there. The borrower would have had to come up with it. It's either the seller comes up with it or the lender comes up with it. And the lender only comes up with it if they raise up the interest rate. Now they got a premium. You save them from getting a premium interest rate. They kept $5,000 in their account. Now they can go out and buy rugs and curtains and mowers and rakes and all the great stuff for their home. I mean, it's a they think you're a great guy. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Did the appraisal come in?
Actually, we had to get it re-inspected because there were some things because it was FHA. They needed some things to get addressed. So the appraisal went out yesterday, so we're just waiting on that now. So it's like, but all in all, even on the original one, it was good other than a couple of things.
Oh yeah, the fix up, for FHA you got to fix things up, but I mean the value came in at the 110 or better. Cool.
Good.
All right. So again, my point here is, do you guys want, like, here's Kevin Roy with HomeSmart. Do you want this co-branded in your name, your phone number? If you do, circle it on your agenda, put yes. When you hand them in, then Ben will create them. We'll email them to you. You save them on your computer. You staple the IDA flyer with the three different down payment assistance programs to the 3 bucket of cash example. And now all of a sudden, you guys look really smart. And again, like I say, you can actually, here, let's do this here, just to change it. Let's say you did have one, going back to this credit for real estate for closing costs. Let's say that your purchase price was $250. Okay, at $250, the customer has to come up with $2,500. We're trying to say you can buy it for 1%. Right now, in order to come up with the down payment of $8,750, client's coming up with $2,500. IDA's coming up with $6,250. Boom, you got all the money. But when you get down here, it's saying, well, IDA can only use, of the $10,000, there's only $3,750 left in the bucket, right? You guys with me? We don't have all of the $5,000 in closing costs. So the borrower has to come up with $1,250 unless you as realtors go down to the gray box here where you can change and say, well, I'm going to negotiate. I'm going to bump the price up $1,250. After you have the table of expectations set and explain to them, okay, we've agreed on 200, but I'm going to have my client pay 201, 250, provided that the contract says then that the seller will pay 1,250. So then you move 1,250 in here, and now all of a sudden, what, he's buying a $250,000 house for how much? $2,500. I would be putting this into every one of my open house flyers. Because again, you'll see that shortly, is that the open house flyer takes the same 3 buckets of cash, but we take one of the 9 brochures that's in agent marketing. We put that on the left side of this, and on the right side is you can buy this $250,000 home for $2,500. And you put them into a stand with a little yellow marker at the top that says, this home can be bought for 1% of the purchase price. And it's not that hard to qualify. A 640 or better credit score, and you make household income less than 101,520. Cool, I'm in. All right, enough said about that. For those that want it co-branded, you'll say yes, and you'll give it, hand it back into me. One of the other things that you guys are going to get throughout these classes is going to be some Facebook posts. And so I just want to show you real quickly. Here's a post that I just did. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Buy a 4-unit building for only 3.5% down. Amazing. I always put in, you'll see here, I always put a landing page in there such that if someone likes it, I want them to know that, it's easy to get started. Drop in your name, email, and phone number. Let's get started on trying to qualify you for a 4-unit, a 3-unit, a 2-unit. They can buy those for 3.5% down. It's a sleeper. I tell as many millenniums as I meet, I go, how much you paying in rent? $3,000? I'll bet I could put you into a 4-unit where you pay nothing on a monthly basis. Because again, if they buy a $400,000 or $500,000 building, the rents in units 2, 3, and 4 is what, $2,000, $4,000, $6,000 they're getting out in rents. I can sit here without a calculator and tell you the mortgage payment's not going to be over $6,000. So I go, why don't you live in the first, 4th unit, first, whatever one you want, live in one of the units, collect $6,000, have no mortgage payment. What are you going to do with your salary? Well, you're going to wine and dine yourself on Division Street and, bar hopping and wining and dining your girlfriends. And then in the meantime, you meet the girl of your dreams and you'll save money too, because you're not going to spend all your salary on wining and dining, but you're saving and you're saving and you're saving. And then all of a sudden, when they decide that they've met the girl of their dreams and they want to get out of the 4th unit, they put a renter in there. Now they're getting $8,000 out of the 4 unit. And they go buy a single family in the western suburbs with you guys. So that's why I kind of throw that always out there as a teaser to see who I can get to, look at buying a 4 unit, get out of renting and go buy a 4 unit, even if it's, 2 guys, 2 girls. 3.5%, isn't that much if you have 2 people splitting it, we're partners in it. So anyway, just throw that out there that you're going to be learning how to do. And my point here too with Facebook posts is that when we get to that class, I want you guys to realize it's a commercial. When I sit down and watch, the Bears or someone like that, I see the same commercial in the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter. By the third and fourth quarter, the beer looks even colder than it was in the first quarter. And that's the whole point. You guys, somebody may see this, buy a 4 unit, and they may take no action, just like I would take no action maybe in the first quarter. But if I'm always on a Monday posting a 4 unit, if every Tuesday I'm posting, how to buy, what's one down here, here. Are you missing the puzzle, the piece to buying a home? Are you missing just the 1% that you need? If you were interested in buying a home for only 1%, click this link and find out more. Again, if I'm doing it every Tuesday, then I'm branding myself in Facebook, whoever sees it, as being the guy who's got 1% programs. And then if all of a sudden I'm also in Facebook showing them that I got $10,000, and I do that every Wednesday. And if I was a realtor, maybe Thursday, I'd be putting in, what is your home worth? But your commercials are running every week. Facebook posts are not one and done. You may as well never do them. I mean, the idea is to keep posting them, and then I take I do 5 posts a week typically, unless I get overly busy, I'm getting up 4. But what I do is I take one of them and I boost it for $25. Boosting it gets it beyond just my friends. And Facebook doesn't let all my friends even see it. Facebook only lets the friends that I engage with, I comment, they those are the people that can see my posts. So I got 3,000 friends. It used to be 3,000 people could see my posts. That was cool. I like that. Now it's 80, 50, because I can't interact with that many people on a daily basis. So, it's significantly reduced. So you're forced in our business, in any business, you have to spend small checks to make big checks. You're going to spend a small check on a Facebook post, boost it, get it out to a whole zip code, get it out to 80,000 people, 90,000, 100,000, 200,000 people, and see if you can't get some business out of it. But start thinking of Facebook as a advertisement, a commercial, your commercial.
It's a marketing platform.
It's a marketing platform.
That's what we use it for. I mean, interacting, but you can get lost in all the bullshit that's on there.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I agree with you totally. That's why I just stay focused.
Right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? People, if the lives through it, like, I don't have to.
I don't have, yeah.
Use it for what it's meant for, which is exactly what you use it for, and what we use it for is the marketing platform.
Keep it simple, stupid. Post, do a boost once a week, get out, and then, I posted that 4 unit and 2 people responded. Okay, that's 2 more people than I started my day with.
Yep.
So I'm working with now 2 more people that might want to buy a 4 unit at some point in time. Kind of cool. All right, next on here is for those that want to do a first-time homebuyer seminar. If you do want to do one, circle it and say yes, but you're going to have to do some work. I've got 3 of them coming up. I think one with you, Kenneth. I've got one. I got 2 more coming up in the next 30 days. Great, great. I'll do 1 a week if I have to, because I really enjoy it. I have a 35 slide presentation. Typically, we'll invite an attorney. Typically, we'll invite the realtors. Obviously, one of you. We invite a home inspector. We invite an insurance agent. They all get a couple of minutes to speak, but it's largely going to be the realtor and the lender that's going to be presenting there. And I present how to buy a home for 1%. We're educating them on how they can purchase a home for 1%. And when they walk out shaking their head, I can, And obviously, anybody who does this, we all share in the attendees. And that's the hardest part of the whole thing, is getting the attendees. I'm doing something brand new. Haven't done it before. I'm doing a go-to webinar. I'll be doing that probably in mid-November. I'll report back to you guys that if I get, what I tried to do is I tried to do it in summer, and I tried to do it on Saturdays, and I found out if the sun is shining and it's summer and it's warm out, nobody's going to come in. I don't want to come indoors. It's Saturday. I want to have fun outside. And then I tried doing it only one time in the evening when it dawned on me, hey, no one's going to show up on a Saturday. And then I started doing it in the evening, and I got very little attendance. But now what I'm going to do is going to try and do it as, sit at home, don't travel, just go to work, come home. I'm going to try and set it up for like 7 p.m. right after they get done eating, and put it on for an hour. So I'll let you guys know what happens. But if you guys want to explore the first time homebuyer seminar, doing that to see if we can get some buyers, feel free to let me know. Loan product matrix. There's only 2 things that I really want to emphasize on this. Here, let me hand it out to you. Here's an example of what your open house flyers could look like. Going back to that 3 buckets of cash for a second. It's taking one of the 9 flyers, and it's putting it on the left side, and it's showing that on the right side. I mean, that's a pretty cool pictorial. It says that's a $99,000 listing, and you can buy that home for $990. That's like, that thing should sell like popcorn. Well, if all it costs is $990. Now going to this loan product matrix. Let me hand these out to you. See if there's enough there for all of you. Again, if you guys need this in electronic form, I can co-brand it with your picture on this. Let me know. I want to emphasize, though, at the very bottom, because you see on the first page, there's FHA standard, there's the 4%, 5%, the 10%. Those are the 6,000, the 75, and the 10,000 down payment assistance. The 2 I want to emphasize to you is the FHA 203K and the home style. The FHA 203K is a buy and fix up program. I have heard from many a realtor there's not enough inventory out there, but if a client, so you're not running yourself around and around always looking for the ideal home if there's not enough inventory out there. If somebody says, hey, I like the transportation routes, it's near the train station, or it's near the expressway, I like the school district, but the house is dated. I don't like the shag carpeting, I don't like, the paneling on the walls, I want to get it out of the 1970s and bring it into the current century. You can get 96.5% financing on the purchase and 96.5% of the fix-up costs. So that would be for an owner-occupied.
Up to a certain dollar amount?
Up to FHA's max is $365,100
On the purchase price?
combined. When you do the
like
low.
300 and then 65. Like 300 purchase price, 65 for a fix-up.
Correct. Yeah. If you go to the next one, though, the home style is the same way. You can do it both for owner-occupied rent. You can do it for investor. That's why I want to emphasize investor in a second. Except that the maximum on the home style is going to be $453,000, not $365,000, $453,100. So you could do a $400,000 purchase, a $50,000 fix-up, and you would do it, those are just labels. They work the same way. FHA 203K home style, those are labels. It's a buy your house loan, fix up your house loan. We put them all in one loan. Doesn't matter what the label is. So if you need more than $353,100, then you go to home style and we'll get you up to $453,000. Now, if you have an investor that says, I buy single family homes, I would like, a lot of them are always looking for the money to fix up the house after they buy it. They want to buy it, fix it, flip it. Some want to buy it, fix it, hold. Some have hold strategies, some have flip strategies. The cool thing about home style is it allows, if it's a single family, they'll give the investor 75% of the purchase price and 75% of the fix up. Kind of a cool thing. So if you got any investors that are looking to buy properties, fix them up, sell them, or hold them, that's the loan program that you want to take a look at.
What are the rates on those?
They're going to be higher by about 75 basis, about 0.75%. So a lot of people that I see, they take the financing because they want the financing, and then what they do is once they finish the project, because there's no prepayment penalty, they typically will refinance probably in 6 months. Because it takes them a while to do the work and all the fix up, and when the dust settles, etc. If they're renting it, by that time they finally finished it up, they've rented it out. If they're holding it, they got a renter in there, and then they come back to it and say, refinancing, get me a lower rate. So, but initially it's going to be higher because it's a higher risk type loan because you're in the middle of construction. Once it's finished, it's a lower risk, and therefore you can lower the rate. Cool? So bear that in mind as you get, yes.
So they're closing on this loan upfront?
They're closing on the loan up front without any fix up. However,
Right.
you will have what's called a consultant
Right.
that's going to cost them anywhere from $400 to about $700, depending upon how big the purchase price and the improvements are. And what they'll do is it's a safeguard for our customer. And I'll show you how it's a safeguard in a second, as well as for the lender in this sense. Say they talk to a general contractor walks through and says, oh, the things you want to do, you want to put hardwood flooring throughout, you want to put on brand new granite countertops, new backsplashes, you want to put in new appliances, it's going to look beautiful. I'm going to charge you 90 grand, right side all up and stuff. Guy thinks that this is what it's going to cost. The consultant will go through, he does two things. He looks at what the customer wants. He wants the hardwood floors and the new granite countertops and backsplashes. He has that in one column, but he's going to price it out in accordance with industry standards. And it might not come in at 90, it might come in at 50 or 60. It's a safeguard to make sure somebody's not ripping off the customer. The second thing, there's a second column to his report, and that's what they call the FHA required. Because again, when a customer, even me, if I were to walk through a house, I might not know that there's mold in the attic or mold in the crawl space, or that the roof doesn't have more than 2 years of economic life left in it. The consultant's going to go through as if he's an FHA appraiser, and his second column is going to say, these are the required fix-ups in order to meet FHA standards. And that's where I see FHA 203K loans. I get them all the time of people gritching and complaining, not to us, but complaining that I had a former lender, and they come to us because they took the general contractor's estimate from the borrower. They walked around the house and said, this is what we want to do. They never brought in a consultant. The appraiser then goes out because it comes in, it gets processed, it's in processing, and all of a sudden the appraiser goes out. The appraiser comes back and says, there's mold, the hot water heater doesn't work, the electrical isn't up to date, and all of a sudden you got 4 or 5 things that nobody's got in the bid. Well, hopefully it's not real expensive because we just pre-approved them and we hope that they're debt real, and now we're going to add $20,000 more. Can the customer handle $20,000 more of debt? I don't know, so we run it. And what happens is your closing date stays firm here. When all of a sudden they suspend the file because you got 5 things that haven't been bid, do you think your contractor is just going to come off the job and go right home right away and say, oh, let me just bid that out for you right away? He's working another job. He'll get to it in the next several days. And it's going to take him days before he's going to finalize it. So your closing date doesn't move, but your there's days, I usually call it, there's about a 2 week lag from when a file gets suspended on an FHA 203K until it gets all put back together again with new bids, that it's confirmed that the debt ratios are okay. So we never will enter into a 203K without a consultant because we
So is
do.
this consultant, I'm sorry, is it
It's option.
payable upfront?
It's payable up front.
Okay.
Customer,
So it's a customer out of pocket.
it's like paying for an appraisal up
Right.
front. You're paying for the consultant up front. You're not required. It's optional if your repairs are under 35,000. But we're all about satisfaction. For $400, it would drive me nuts not to have the consultant in place so that I knew that when the file went in, everything was bid out, everything was in there, and the file just keeps moving forward and we go to closing. What I don't want to do is to have something all of a sudden stop, and now everybody's in panic mode. You know when everybody's in panic mode? Everybody stops talking nice. Everybody starts talking a little angsty. And so I don't like people that talk angsty to me. So with that, I always say you're gonna have to get the consultant. Otherwise, take your chances with somebody else because you may end up with repairs that you haven't planned on, and then it delays it. So anyway, home style is for both owner occupied as well as for the investors. Okay. Next, waiting period. Both of you know about waiting periods if there's a bankruptcy or a foreclosure, but I thought that you guys would enjoy a little handout. I think there's 4 of those there, so I'm gonna pass those around. I circled the 2 that you guys might be interested in. It talks about if there is a foreclosure or a bankruptcy, Chapter 7, that the waiting period is 2 years on a bankruptcy, it's 3 years on a foreclosure, it's 3 years on a short sale. Does everybody know the difference between Chapter 7 and Chapter 13? Okay, so you got a couple of, all right, Chapter 7, you go into the bankruptcy court and you say, here's my schedule of everybody that I owe. I owe this person on auto loan, I owe this credit card, this credit card, this credit card, these collections, and you go in Chapter 7, you ask for all the debts to be forgiven. Wiped out. You own it when you get done. Chapter 7 takes you all of 3 months from start to finish. You're done. You owe nobody anything. You cannot, in bankruptcy, you cannot get rid of student loans and you cannot get rid of federal tax liabilities. But for the most part, everybody else goes to the wayside. Chapter 13, you're saying, I don't want everybody to go to zero. I don't want to not pay my debts. It's just that on the car loan, I was paying $400 a month. You're going in with a plan. I can, under my plan, I can pay $250. I was paying Visa $100 a month. I can pay them $50. My MasterCard, I was paying $75. I can pay $35. So what you're doing is you're extending out the repayment program under a 13. Eventually, all your creditors get paid, but they get paid over a longer period of time. Okay, so 13, you're not dismissing the debt. You're extending the repayment period. Chapter 7, you're saying we're done. I no longer owe you anything. I'm out. 2 years later, they can come back in and they can, as if they never had a bankruptcy, and become a homeowner again. Now, good.
Wouldn't that be the highest risk? Somebody that says 7.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh, it is. I mean, some people have reasons for it. Some it's mismanagement. They took on too much credit card, too much debt. But during that 2 year period, what lenders look for is, did you establish new credit? We always tell people who took a 7, go out and get what's called a cash collateralized credit card. Go to Visa, go to MasterCard, give them $200, get a $200 limit on a credit card. Go out and start making purchases, make a purchase, pay it back, make a purchase, pay it back. Your credit score doesn't look at how much your limit is as far as, 200, 500, 10,000. It looks at history. You used it, you paid it. You used it, you paid it. You used it, you paid it. You're paying on time. That's going to build their credit score. So yeah, it is the highest risk, but they figure within a 2 year period, if you've reestablished credit and you paid on time, they'll let you come back in.
I want to say one of the things that I heard, and maybe you can give some insight as well. So say for instance, a client does that, and they keep their balance anywhere between like 1 and 10%, that actually helps, their credit score as well, and brings it up a little higher as long as they keep that revolving door going of, like you say, paying it and then paying, using it and paying it off.
Well, we tell people, and again, we've been told by credit bureaus and those who do credit repair, the highest increase in someone's credit score is to take whatever their balance is, get it down to your point, 10%. So if I have $1,000 Visa credit limit, get my balance down to $100, I'll get the biggest benefit in my FICO score, credit score at 10%. I mean, you do get benefit once it goes under 50, 40, but you get the best benefit, going back to your point, at 10%. So whoever you heard that from, that's also what I've heard is get them down to 10% if that's at all possible. Okay? All right, and then one last thing on this waiting period. You notice on number 3, no waiting period if current on 12 months prior to short sale. I saw that this week for the first time in my career, which I thought was kind of cool. That is footnote number 3, and it's with respect to, do you see here short sale in the middle here between the two circled items? There's a little number 3. Number 3 says, if you kept, say you had to sell your house at a short sale. Short sale means that you owe more money than what it's worth. Well, if you kept that mortgage, it says 3 years you have to wait if you do a short sale. But what if you kept the mortgage current all the way up to the date? You're always making the mortgage payment on time. My wife and I decided to sell. We sell in a short sale. It says no waiting period, no 2 years, no 3-year waiting period if the mortgage was current just prior to the short sale. So if you ever meet a client and says, oh, I can't buy a house because, I did a short sale. What'd you do on the mortgage? Were you current all the time? Oh, yeah, we paid it all the way up until the date of the short sale. Cool. Let's go look at housing. You can buy tomorrow.
But usually in a short sale, don't you have to show some sort of financial trouble? Yeah, hardship, and usually you're advised not to pay on the mortgage. So, unless you see more of that, but I haven't dealt with that.
I'm going to say that was what I used to see. Okay. I mean, the attorneys would tell people, and boy, people with 800 scores, we had just trashed. Yeah. The law changed, Grant, where the lenders, because again, a lot of that was the problem. They were taking people with great credit scores and just trashing credit scores before lenders would work with them. Mm-hmm. And somebody with a brain said, well, that's kind of dumb. What are we making people trash their credit scores purposely just to have you work with them or to approve the short sale? Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Now I'm seeing people with perfect credit scores, perfect mortgage history, having had a short sale. I'm going, cool. The law did change. People are, continuing to pay. They decided that for whatever reason, house is too big. In my case, my client was a divorcee, got divorced, was living in the marital home, but it was too big. She's sitting there by herself. She has real estate taxes that are too high. And she finally said, you know what? The value dropped in 2008 and it hasn't come back yet. And I'm not willing to sit here and keep paying all these real estate taxes and all this utility bills on this big ass house. So she ended up selling on a short sale.
Well, to me, a hardship would be that I can't pay these bills. But if she's paying the bills, to me, I'm not seeing the hardship.
And you don't have, but what I'm saying.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's a loss of income, but she's still qualified.
And you can actually get, that would be, go back to Grant's point. Divorce is considered what's called an extenuating circumstance or a hardship. And because you can then demonstrate that the income on her tax return dropped down. But you really that's the year that she needs to actually then do the short sale. And some would say, well, that's the extenuating circumstance. In her case, she stayed in it for 3 more years and, paid the bills, and finally, cried uncle and said, I'm not going to do this anymore. Her waiting period, though, is still 0. Because, again, you don't have to prove hardship, to the lender. You have to prove it possibly to the lender to approve your short sale, but her short sale was approved. It's now she's trying to come to us as a new lender and saying, I want to buy a new house. Normally a short sale, it's a 3-year waiting period. She's only waited 2.5 years, thinking she had to wait 3, and she's asking us, do you think I can buy now? And we're looking at it, we look at the mortgage history and go, were you perfect all the way through the date of the short sale? She goes, yeah, I paid all the bills on time. I go, there is no waiting period. So she's buying a new house without waiting 3 years. So again, keep that in mind, keep that in your, in the back of your mind. All right, next. This cool, and I don't know, did I bring it in here? Yes, I did. This here, this is the Homes for Star Stripes and Service. Real quickly on the program, I think, Kenneth, you're in the program now. Anybody that wants to get into the program, you circle that and say yes. The program is like this. You don't have to pay anything to get into it. You just have to say you're going to market it. We create the very first stand here, and there's four major benefits. One, you have to decide how much of your commission you're willing to give back as a rebate. Under the old program, to your customer, to your buyer. So you're representing, so let's back up. The heroes are policemen, firemen, teachers, doctors, nurses, EMTs, and military. So for example, I go to the VFW hall and I give presentations to the VFW hall. I've been to schools, I make presentation at schools. I've been to Naperville's police department and I make presentations. Wherever I make a presentation, I leave one of these stands. What we're telling them, because I usually grab a realtor who goes with me, I go, this wonderful partner of mine, he's giving, and under the old program, it was 25% of your commission because you were with Homes for Heroes out of Minnesota, and that's the program they dictated. What I'm saying, it's your program. You can say, well, I would like to do 10% give back to the buyer. 15, 20, 25, whatever you want, that's up to you. So I've got them all over the place. I got some people are in for 25% give back, some are in there for 10%. The second thing is the lender's going to pay for their appraisal, so another $450. The third thing is going to be three title companies will lower the title charges $400. First American Title, Citywide Title, and Fidelity National. So if the title, and typically, who orders the title on a purchase? The seller. So what we do on those is we typically call the seller side and say, hey, we got a hero on our hands, we got a policeman, we got a fireman, got a teacher. If you order it from these three title companies, they will get a $400 reduction. So if they can, we ask them if they'd be so kind as to order from one of those three. Last but not least, there's a couple of attorneys that'll give $100 off on the closing costs. So when you wrapped it all together, it's a little over $2,000, $2,500 that they're receiving in benefits. After the closing, that flyer is stapled together. There's 2 pages. The second page says, post-closing, that hero will get $7,500 in national merchant discount coupons. From whom? From Costco, from Bed Bath & Beyond, from Target, and 50 other companies that we've negotiated with to give this back to the customer, to the hero. So when you have the $7,500 and the coupons are good for 5 years, and the $2,500 that they get at closing, it's about $9,500 worth of benefits that they receive. Kind of a nice thing. You'll hope that the brotherhood speaks. If you do a good thing for a policeman, maybe they'll talk to their next brother. The policeman, I've gone to fire stations and I've been at some of their meetings where I talk to the guys that are on call at that point in time, and you bring a box of donuts or bagels and you give a 10-minute presentation and you leave behind your stand. The reason I make the stand up is because if I verbalized the stand or took a picture of it, you guys would have different forms of it. I think it's kind of cool that you guys would, I'll make your first stand, I'll supply it, I'll co-brand it for you and all that, but then you have to go out to, Staples or wherever, get the stands, we'll give you the electronic versions of all the flyers. Then when you go out to your second place to make a presentation, you make up a stand, your third, make up a stand. So you guys will be making up the stands on a go-forward basis. We'll help you along the way. We do make, once a month, I do a hero of the month. Anybody in the program, any of the realtors, I'll be asking you guys for recommendations. Do you know anybody in your neighborhood who's a teacher, who's a policeman, who's a fireman, who's a doctor or nurse that has done something extraordinary? And the way I usually find it, I just read my local newspaper, or read the internet, the local internet news, and find out, hey, this policeman did a really cool thing, or a doctor did something cool. And then we videotape them, get to know them better. We put it in Facebook, we put it in YouTube, and then we hang it on our personal website, and you guys should put it on your personal website. All right.
I'm sorry, I thought that there was some sort of fee that goes to somebody in Minnesota.
It is if you're in the home. That's why it's no longer called Homes for Heroes.
No.
It's called Homes for Stars, Stripes, and Service. Because Homes for Heroes, you have to pay like first a licensing fee of like $2,000.
So this is
My own creation. It's my own creation because realtors who were in the program started saying, well, I'm not going to pay $2,000 to Minnesota anymore. And what they would do is they would give you a territory that was, my territory under Homes for Heroes was Crystal Lake. I like that for a nearby territory.
okay.
I mean, it was just so crazy that, it just didn't work for me. Yet I like helping out those that served our country or served our community. So again,
On here though, it's listed as Homes for Heroes.
yes, you should.
That's the basis of the program. He's just doing the same thing,
Yep.
but
With no
putting your
cost.
name on it. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah. It's creative. It's nice little operation.
Saves realtors $2,000 for having to get licensed,
Yeah.
and then just as like Kelly said, it was not only 25% that you gave back to the customer, you gave another 5%, which made it up to 30%. You gave 5% to Homes for Heroes non-for-profit organization. So it was a big give.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, how about if you want to do 25 grand, you want to do 10%? It's your program. You pick your discount because a discount is a discount, and you get to get all these benefits in the 7,500. So I just thought it was pretty cool. So anyway, if you guys decide that you want to be in the program, circle it, say yes, and we'll create it for you. Land trust, lunch and learns. If you guys get a chance to do land trusts,
Financing.
well,
Is that what you're talking about?
well, land trust in this sense, you should make sure that your clients know there's really two things that land trust, real quickly, the benefits of a land trust. You should be educating your clients as realtors. Are you going to hold this real estate in your personal name, or are you going to hold it in a trust? When you pass from this earth, I think I've got it up here. Let me see if I have it.
You're saying a title itself?
Yep. Here it is. When you pass from this earth, there's three ways that you can pass. You can pass with no will, with a will, or with a trust. Okay. Make it easy. No will and a will. Those two, when you pass from this earth, as long as you have over $100,000 in assets, your assets all go to probate court to be refereed. So if you own a house, it's over 100 grand, you're going to probate court. So I always tell people, we all in this room, we all have plan A. If you don't have a trust, you have plan A. You're going to probate court when you pass from this earth. And what probate does, if you have no will, for 6 months, no one can disperse your assets, and they're waiting for any heirs, your long-lost son or daughter from Las Vegas, or your long-lost son from Guatemala is, all of a sudden going to be showing up to say, and then they got to go through proof that they're actually your heir, So that's the whole purpose of no will. The will can be contested because on Dad's dying bed, I'm one of 6 kids. Dad told me I get everything. And so I let all my brothers and sisters know you guys get nothing because Dad said on his dying bed that I get everything. So we get to contest it and fight in court. But again, let's assume that there is no contesting, that there's no crazy heirs that come out of the woodwork. For 6 months, your assets, your estate sits in probate. Probate works for 3 to 8% of the value of the assets. If you're anything like me, when I was a young man, I bought a primary residence. When I got a little bit older, I bought a second home. As I got older, I bought a rental property. Actually, I bought about a dozen of them, but I only, I'm down to a couple only. And so by the time I passed from this earth, maybe each one of those 3 properties were worth $300,000. 3, 6, 900. Let's say round numbers, it's $1 million. What is 5% of $1 million? 50. So the plan for everybody in this room who has a will or no will, if you have 3 pieces of real estate, your plan is to give the probate court $50,000 upon liquidation of your assets. People go, oh, no, that's not my plan. Yes, it is your plan. You don't have a choice. That's what the state of Illinois says you're going to do. If you want plan B, you take out a land trust for $99. So I go, plan B is 99, plan A is 50,000, and there's a ton of people in plan A. So again, you as realtors, and again, Glenn makes nothing on this. I just like talking about it because I think I sound smart. How about you guys? It sound like you sound smart.
So like an estate would set that up?
Believe it or not, what's so cool about it is all you have to do is call Julia. Julia is the attorney for Chicago Title. It's real simple. The land trust document is just a one-page document, and she prepares the deed, deeding it out of your personal name into the land trust. Now you can take her documents and take them to your attorney and have them reviewed, which probably wouldn't be a bad idea. But she is an attorney and she'll take care of everything for you for the 99 bucks. So this is a smart thing. If you guys want more of these flyers, circle it on your agenda and say, yes, I want some of these to hand out to clients. But by the way, whenever you guys do the hero program, I've gone to, these are the ones that take all the flyers. Policemen, firemen, and teachers. Think of it. If you're a policeman, do you want people to know where you live? When I had black hair and I was a young guy, there was no such thing as Google. So if a policeman pulled me over and I didn't like the way that he handled me, I would look at his badge and go, oh, it's O'Reilly. Okay, I didn't know where O'Reilly lived. I didn't have Google, anything. Now under the Freedom of Information Act, if the policeman arrests somebody or pulls him over and the guy doesn't like it, he's got a screw loose, doesn't like the way he's handled, he can look at the name on the badge, he can call up the station has to tell him, yeah, the guy behind O'Reilly is, James O'Reilly. Well, now he just has to go to any computer, put in James O'Reilly, and all of a sudden it'll show him where James O'Reilly lives. The guy's got a screw loose, he can take a rock or something worse. He's endangering the policeman's wife, children. I'm like, what are you guys doing with your real estate in your personal name? Take it, get privacy, land trust, the owner on the deed, when somebody does, who owns 123 Main Street, it's going to say Chicago Title Land Trust number 1234. It's not going to say Glenn and Rose Marino.
Also, we don't choose the name, it's a Chicago Title's name?
It'll be Chicago Title Land Trust, and then you get your land trust number.
Gotcha.
That's who the owner is. Now you're the client. Your clients are the beneficiaries of that land trust.
Sure.
But for 99 bucks, they get privacy and they avoid probate court. Because now remember I said it took 6 months if you die with a will or no will. If you have a trust, 2 weeks after you die, your assets can be distributed because you're not going to probate court. So again, I want you guys to understand the benefit.
Can I get one of these?
Oh, please take some right now.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, business plan. I want you guys to be thinking hard and fast about your business plans for 2019. I've done a little schematic for you. You guys will love my artwork.
And that was one of the things I was actually going over. Thanks, but that there's, several different pools of, income or ways to generate business. And basically I picked like the top 3 or 4 and said, okay, this is gonna be my area where I'm gonna count on it. And literally as you get better, or if you decide that you're, hopefully fifth, you can say, okay, I've tried this necessarily won't work. You get to find out, what's gonna be your best, return of our investment. Sure.
Well, that's why I show a business plan like a table, like this table here. That's your business plan. On top is your business plan, but it is supported by marketing strategies. All those are legs of a table. Are you going to do expireds? Are you going to do remind? Are you going to do FSBOs? Are you going to drip on your book of business? Are you going to be calling your book of business? All those things are questions. Like you said, there's I've got more. I just created a whole bunch of strategies here for you guys just to think about. I'm not going to spend time, but I just want you guys to take it with you. If you guys want to sit down with me at a later date and you want to go through some of the strategies, feel free to. Notice I say you need to pick number 1 and 3 other ones. So no more than 4 strategies because you're going to be busy. If you actually pick strategies and you go at them in the right way, you'll be really busy with 2 or 3 major strategies, but do them with 110% vigor. Okay, next on the agenda there is once you have your strategies, You must, in my opinion, know how to use a Google Calendar, use a Yahoo Calendar, use an Outlook calendar, some sort of calendar. Because let's say that you decide that you're going to do Remind one day, you're going to do Expireds another day, you're going to do FSBOs. You know, unless it's in your calendar, you know what? It doesn't get done. You know, if the phone calls come in, or, you know, client work, or got to turn on utilities, or got to hand in paperwork. But if you guys block out from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock every day, because all those legs of the table, those are money-making activity. If you don't dedicate yourself to money-making, then operational things take over. You know what? Once you're done with operational, when you sell all your listings, you're sitting there going, I haven't got anything else. I got to go out and get some more business. Don't make your business the roller coaster. I get some business, I got to work on it, and then I sell it all. And then I got to get more some business. Why don't you guys every day create money-making activity? Every day, go after an expired, go after a FSBO, go after a Remind, go after, you know, advertise other agents' listings. Go after a strategy every single day from 8 to 9 o'clock. After 9 o'clock, go do what you need to do. But if it's not in your calendar, Facebook takes over, your emails take over, your phone calls take over, and by the end of the day, you go, damn, I didn't self-generate a lead for myself. So again, just trying to give you guys some food
Are
for
you
thought.
offering Remind classes?
We are, and again, I'm going to show it to you real quickly today. In fact, I'm going to do that at the end here, is just demonstrate Remind real quickly for you.
Okay.
And if we need to, you know, we can get together one-on-one, because it really doesn't take that long.
Unread offers the class too.
Well, they do, but you know what I found that they don't teach you guys what to do with them. They teach you what Remind's all about. Hey, these are people that have high probability of selling. Okay, what are you going to do with them now? We create door hangers for you to go out and put them on the doors. We also look at people that have high interest rates. And we say, like my neighbor has a 6.82 interest rate. Why does my neighbor have a 6.82 interest rate? So you can go into Remind and you can put in a filter that says, I wanted to see everybody in this zip code that has an interest rate greater than, say, 6%. And I question my neighbor and say, hey, Nick, why do you have a rate of 6.82% on $400,000 of debt? He goes, well, because it's going to cost me like $2,000 to refinance, and I'm selling in the next 24 months. I'm not going to get back the savings over the next 2 years. So why am I going to pay $2,000 if I'm not going to get back the savings? He says, so I'm out of here within the next 24 months. That's people that you want to talk to as a realtor.
Yeah.
So wouldn't it be nice if you could, Remind will identify those people that have higher than normal interest rates, and then you're going to be putting a door hanger on their door and saying, hey, are you thinking of selling in the next 12 to 24 months? This is what I've done for other sellers. Here's the property website, HTTP. Here's the text message number that I've created for them. Check it out. You know, your picture, your business card. They're here. I'll show it to you at the end. Again, part of those strategies is how many people are dripping on their current book of business. Cool. And it's usually, it's like only 10%, 20% of the realtors are really doing it. And what you need to do is everybody that's in your Gmail contacts, which are probably family, friends, and others, anybody who's in your Yahoo, anybody who's in Hotmail, anybody who's in the MLS, that's a past or, was a prospect that you put into the MLS. Those are all people that you need to pull out, put them into a big Excel spreadsheet, and you need to drip on them. And if you don't have a dripping mechanism, a CRM, I do it for free. I have over 2 years worth of drip material that they get dripped on. It has your picture, your contact information, goes under your email, not my email. The only negative, if you want to call it negative, is I'm co-branded at the bottom. So again, I'm just highly, highly, highly recommend. In fact, I'm in my business, that's one of the things we're working on right now, is we're getting all of our past clients into drips, because we want them to continue to know that we're around, that if they have family, friends, somebody, that we're the realtor of choice, we're the lender of choice. So I encourage you that if you're not dripping on your book of business, make that a priority for 2019. Need be, talk to me and we'll get it set up. Okay, let's get into what you guys came here for today, and that is the killer listing presentation. Here's 4 black folders. You guys have seen these before.
I'm not going to take your folders because I have your folders unless you tell me.
No, there's nothing new in there, so
Okay.
that'd be great. Thank you. But what I want to do is I want to emphasize to you that under the Realtor Internet Marketing Academy, there's going to be 8 classes. And what we plan to do, it's progressive. Today, I want to give you guys confidence that if you get in front of someone and you use these 7 steps, that you will, in essence, win the listing presentation. So a good salesman, if he or she has confidence that you get me in front of somebody, I win, then I want to keep winning, and then I'm encouraged to go out and get expireds or FSBOs or advertise other agents' listings or whatever strategies you're going to use to get clients. You notice on here, it's on the very front cover, it says, the second one says how to win every expired listing. Again, that's going to be your second class. Then there's going to be, the third class is going to be how to win every for sale by owner. So once I've got your confidence in winning, I want you to get in front of expireds. I want you to get in front of FSBOs. We're going to talk about how to do that. We're going to talk about how to get more seller leads using Facebook ads. Again, if we can get in front of people who want to be buyers with buy for 1% or buy because we give them $10,000, or somebody wants to sell because we have great marketing tools to help sell their home quickly, profitably, that's what we're going to use Facebook ads to try and collect leads for that. Also, there's a strategy on how to advertise other agents' listings. I've taken people with 3 listings and they ended up with 30 listings, all within, say, 60 days. But what they did was they just looked around their office for people who had listings. You have 10 listings, you have 8 listings, you have 6 listings, and they looked for people that did not use sign writers. So what I'm saying here is this is what a sign writer typically looks like. And what you want to do is if they're not using sign writers, what you're trying to say is, how about, because again, the agent marketing system that you guys get for free, how about if you just put in their MLS number of that listing agent who has 10 listings and say, you listing agent, you're looking for your next listing, your next listing, your next listing. You're not interested in the buyer leads. How about if I try to bring buyers faster to your listings? How about if you allow me to put this sign writer either on top, if that's where they go, or these come with grommets down below and at the bottom of the yard sign. And how about if I try to attract buyers for you to sell them more quickly? All of a sudden you create, just with the MLS number, you can create 10 different property websites, order 10 sign writers. You go to the next agent, they have 8 listings. You go to the next one, they've got 6 listings. Before you know it, you've got 20 some listings inside your agent marketing. On the weekends when people are out running around and they're texting for additional information on all of these 20 some homes, who's getting the text messages? Who's getting the email messages? You guys are. So again, a great strategy, advertising other agents' listings. Once you do get a listing, underneath here it says weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Automatically, it's going to post you into 10 of the busiest realty sites. Your company puts you guys into realty sites. So, I mean, automatically. But the thing that I emphasize to you guys is rather than just speaking it, I'm going to be showing you guys at least, send an email off to your clients showing them where they are in realty sites, at least the major ones. And that's so easy because all you have to do is put the address of the property in Google and it'll show you all the sites, screen capture it, send it off and say, hey, you're in, count them up, 20 different realty sites. This system's going to put them into at least 10. So the rest of it's going to be up to your company. Week number 2, we're going to show you guys how to put them into 8 of the busiest social media sites. If you guys aren't talking Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Craigslist, and the other realtors are that you're competing against for a listing, you're going to lose. Because today's seller wants to know that you're willing to use social media exposure to get their house sold out there. Week 3, we're going to show you how to get their virtual tour on page 1 of YouTube. We're also in that class going to show you guys, we're going to give you guys a free personal website. I think it's rather cool. It's rather robust. It's going to have about you information. If anybody wants to do a video about what you do for buyers, what you do for sellers, we'll do a video. We'll put it up in your personal website. It's going to have a whole block of what you do for buyers, It's going to have a whole block of what you do for sellers. What do you do for buyers? Well, you help. One tab would be how you can buy a home for 1%. Click it, and it goes to that IDA flyer. Another one would be how to buy a home for 1%. The IDA flyer might be down payment assistance. The other tab might be how to buy for 1%. It goes to the 3 buckets of cash with your picture co-branded on it. So there's a lot of cool things that we can do with the personal website. We can tie it into your MLS search for homes and all that great stuff. Then you're going to go to how to get your property website highly ranked in Google searches, and then how to get up to 40,000 eyeballs in Facebook. So let's start out with a scenario on this. If you guys would take out of your black folder what's called the killer listing presentation, it should be on the right side. Okay? And what we're going to be doing is let's set the table. Glenn and Rose lived in their house for 10 years. Last daughter went off to Indiana University, graduated. They're sitting in the house. It's too big. Real estate taxes are too high. So they're thinking of downsizing. So they've asked 3 sets of realtors to come over on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You're going to be the second realtor in on Thursday at 7 p.m. So now you're figuring out, okay, I've been asked to come in. I've been referred in. How should I prepare for this listing such that I win the listing presentation? Okay, so one of the first things that you're going to be doing is, let me just bring up my killer listing presentation here. The first thing is you're going to go out, today's what, Friday? Okay, and you're going to be meeting with, say, Glenn and Rose on, say, a Thursday, next Thursday. So over the weekend, what you're going to do is you're going to either look up, has Glenn and Rose ever had their home in the internet? Were they previously in the MLS where there's 25 pictures? Or were they on some other site out there? If there are, we're going to borrow those pictures and we're going to create a property website. Today is not going to, I'm not going to show you how to create the property website. That's going to be when we do the expired and the FSBO. But we will look at what the property website looks like.
Now, one thing we just have to be careful because it's photo laws, set from the photographer and stuff. So, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts would be this: it's going to be when you create this, it's a private link. You're going to actually delete the pictures once they sign your listing agreement. So you'll never be using those pictures when they become advertised in the public arena. But while it's a private, what you're doing is you're taking what the customer has previously seen. Either they were previously in the MLS, or maybe they were on a for sale by owner site. But you're showing them pictures that they have seen before and saying, this is how I would market your house in the future should you decide to choose me. And you can tell them, and I will be deleting all these pictures, because if you ever look at some of the expired pictures or even the for sale by owner pictures, they're not the best pictures in the world.
Garbage.
They're garbage, correct.
Yeah.
And that's why I always say, if you're going to market in the internet, which you guys are, your pictures are your storybook. They need to look professional. I'm going to stay engaged if I see beautiful pictures. I would hire a professional photographer if I were you guys on my listings, unless the listing was really small, but I would be going after a professional photographer every single time. You don't want the ketchup bottle or the mustard, on the kitchen counter, which, you see that, or, beds on, I mean, it's just,
The flash.
yeah, right, in the mirror, right, exactly. Well, we've all, so my point is, it'll always stay, granted, it'll always stay a private link. You and whoever, if you give it to the seller, those are the only two that are going to see it.
Gotcha.
And the agreement is they're being deleted anyway, because I'm going to give you a much more professional package should you decide that my marketing strategies are what you want. My goal here, guys and lady, is to make you guys green fish. I do not want you guys to be competing with all the other realtors out there and being just like them. Yes, I want you to be competing against them, but I want you to beat their pants off. If you can become a green fish and look totally unique, then you're going to stand out in the crowd. But if you're going to go after expireds, if you're going to go after FSBOs, if you're going to go after your listing presentations and just look like somebody else who's going to give them statistics on how many houses are listed in the marketplace, what percent of the listing price are they selling for, your company sells homes in this neighborhood, they want to know about their home and how you're going to market it. And that's what, that's what it's all about. So if Glenn and Rose have pictures in the internet, you're going to go grab them. If they don't, go grab your phone. Your phone is beautiful. I take great pictures with my phone. You're going to take 6 pictures. You're going to take a picture of the front of the house, the back of the house, 2 side yard pictures, 2 street view pictures, 6 pictures in all. You're going to load them up and put them into a property website. Okay, so now that you created this property website, now what you're going to do is now time's going to march on. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's Thursday. Your killer listing presentation material says, number 1, send the email e-postcard to the seller 7 hours prior to your meeting. Okay, you're supposed to be up at 7 p.m., right? 7 hours prior is noon. So at noon, you're sending to Glenn and Rose this really cool e-postcard. And what you're going to do is you're going to send them. Now I'm going to show you where the e-card is and what it looks like. Well, it looks like what you see in on your screen there. But here is the script that you're going to put into the email. Now, just so everybody knows, first off, how do you get the e-card to send it off to the customer? Well, when you created the property website, the system automatically creates an e-card, and that's going to be over here, under here. Okay, so this is our subject property, 10801 Crystal Spring Drive. If you were to go to Tools, and if you were to scroll all the way down Tools, underneath the listing presentation, you see Property e-card, you click Property e-card. Don't worry about the color. You can always change the color. See this color palette here? You can change it to whatever color you like. The important thing is that you got this beautiful e-card. It's going to have features. It's going to have you on there. See where it says Send Email button? When you click Send Email, it goes to your individual inbox, your email, not to the customer, to you. What are you guys going to do if you wanted to send it now to me? I'm the seller. You're going to send it to me. You're going to click Forward right in your email. When you click Forward, all emails leave a white space. So now you can put a message in. The cool thing is, this is the body of the email. It's not an attachment. So if all of a sudden you send me something in color that's the front of my house, guess what? I'm going to scroll down and look at it. It's my house. You got, there's something going on here with my house that you're involving me. So I'm going to get engaged. Now in the white space, let's go back to then, let's go back to what we're going to be saying there. So we got this really cool first email. It says you have an appointment to meet the prospective sellers, Glenn and Rose, at 7 p.m. on Thursday. 3 days prior, you take pictures of the front, back, 2 side yard, and 2 street view pictures. You create a property website. On Thursday, 7 hours prior, noon, you send the e-card to Glenn and Rose. The e-card is accessed by clicking the Tools tab, then scrolling down to the e-postcard, just what we just did, right? Once viewing the e-card, click the Send button to email it to yourself, you guys. Then access your emails and click Forward and email the prospective seller, Glenn and Rose, with the following message. Hi, this is Kenneth. Hi, this is Richard. It's Kelly. It's Grant. I'm looking forward to meeting you tonight at 7 p.m. Below, I've already created for you an e-postcard that you can share with your family, friends, and business associates, letting them know your home is for sale. Please note that the pictures in the e-card are linked to a complete property website that I've already created for you. Take a look. I look forward to seeing you tonight at 7 p.m. to explain more of what I do to help sell your home. This is all called pre-warm-up. I like being an athlete. Whenever I work out, I warm up. This is the warm-up. You're warming them up to, they don't expect, they already saw Realtor number 1 yesterday. Realtor number 1 didn't come in already with an e-postcard, already created. That's already linked to a full property website. So when you come back over here, all they have to do is see this here. There's your website, HTTP. When they get it, all they got to do, that'll be highlighted in blue. It's a blue link. They click on it, and they can go see the full property website that you've already created for them. They're going, damn. Already, the door is getting a little warm. They kind of think you're pretty wonderful. So now what happens after that? If you go back to your killer listing presentation materials, go to number 2. Number 2 says email the text message number to the sellers 5 hours prior to the meeting. So now every time you create a property website, it gives you a unique text code, right? So now it's 5 hours prior. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. you're going to send Glenn and Rose, say it's 123456. You're telling them text that to 79564 and download a complete website into the seller's cell phone. Well, again, kind of cool warm up. You're going to be sending that to them, but when you do, go back to your email. There's going to be a second email that goes out, and the second email says the following. It's 2 hours later, it's around 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and you send a second email to the seller stating, "Hi, it's Grant, it's Kelly. I could not help myself. I created some more marketing materials to help sell your home quickly, profitably, in a hassle-free manner. I created a mobile version of your home's property website that downloads into smartphones. In the year 2018, consumers are buying more than 50% of their goods and services using smartphones. Your home needs to be in mobile application using text messaging technology. Please text whatever the number is the system gave you, 123456, to 79564 to view how your home's complete property website would be downloaded into a prospective buyer's phone for their review and for their enjoyment. This is huge. I look forward to seeing you tonight at 7 p.m. to explain more of what I do to help sell your home. See you soon." Everybody, take out your phones and let's take a look at this property in mobile form. So if you take out your phone, go to text messages. So I'm going to go to text, and this happens to be the recipient where it's going to is 79564. Okay, so I'm doing a new message. I'm going compose. I'm going, the recipient is 79564. Cool. Then in the message box, this particular property, it's 911404. So type in 911404 and hit send. Tell me if when somebody gets something back.
Yeah.
Okay, now you should have a thumbnail with a blue link that says blah 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 .mobi. Click the .mobi one. You guys must be eating up my bandwidth. You guys got it. I'm still waiting here. Finally, I got it.
Select the wireless network.
Your phone should have already been set up with that, but now, did you guys get the full property website?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what you can do is go to, I'm just looking at your phone, go to, in the upper left corner, there's something that says menu, click menu, then click photo gallery. And now what you can do is you can start looking at all the pictures. So this is, so your client got this at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Remember this, you haven't even had a listing appointment with him. You sent him an e-postcard at noon. You just sent him this at 2 o'clock. Do you think that he's somewhat, got to remember, he also met with realtor number one yesterday. Do you think realtor number one gave him an e-postcard that was, in electronic form tied to a property website? Now you gave him a mobile application 2 hours later. If it was my wife and you sent it to her, she's going to make a pasta meal for you. She's going to say, when you guys come over at 7 o'clock, you have to first eat dinner with her because she's going to say, you guys are wonderful. So that's all part of the pre-warm-up is what I call. You've warmed up the client. You showed them two great technology pieces and that you haven't even walked in the front door yet. And how much time did it take you? 20 minutes worth of time to create a property website because it was already in the system for you. Yes.
So with these, type of detailed pictures, you're able to get those from if they were already listed before in the past, or is that?
Yeah, it's still, okay. A lot of times they're still in the MLS. Okay. So it works real well when they're expireds or FSBOs because those pictures are in there. Right. And just remember, it's a private link. You gave it to the seller. It's only you and the seller. If somebody were to go into Google and look for that HTTP, they'd say, doesn't exist.
Gotcha.
You've never activated it and made it public. It's a private link. But yeah, so you stand out. You're a greenfish now. Remember, I'm trying to make you a greenfish. The goldfish show up with their standard listing presentation. You've warmed the door with 2 pieces of technology on just their home. They're going, who is this Kenneth guy? They kind of like you already, and they haven't even seen you yet. So anyway, go to the next page on the killer listing presentation material. Number 3 says, then prepare to present your flipbook presentation. Now, that means you're going to the door at 7 o'clock, you ring the doorbell, you have your pasta meal with Rose, and then you're going to be ready to present. One of the things I would do in advance is, if your phones are not already Wi-Fi hotspots, I would talk to your carrier and make them Wi-Fi hotspots. Because if somebody walked into my house and said, hey, I need to use your Wi-Fi, what's your password? I'd probably say, I'm not going to give it to you. And so if that's the only way by which you're going to be able to show them the flipbook presentation, you're probably going to go, wow, this is really bad. So I always, whenever I go out, I just tether my phone to my laptop, and as long as I got cell service, T-Mobile gets me into the internet with no problem. So it's called make your phone a Wi-Fi hotspot. Your carrier will probably charge you $5, $10 a month for that service, if that. Maybe it's gone to free. I don't know if it's gone free yet.
It depends what
Yeah, what plan you're on.
everywhere. Honestly, I'm using it now because I know it seems like it works faster, and when everybody's on the network, say for instance here, it just, man, it's quick.
Oh wow.
It's quick.
Now, my point of having you guys have the killer listing presentation material in your hand is, let's make a note. This is a 17-page flip book. It comes in 3 flavors, 3 versions. So we're going to look at one of the versions. If you guys say, I don't like that, I can always show you where you can look at version 2 or version 3. So again, write down your flipbook presentation you go to Tools, and you drop all the way down, and you'll see what's called flipbook. So I'm going to come over here to,
This is on the agent marketing site?
correct. You're going to go to your agent marketing site, because you've already created this cool 10801 Crystal Spring Drive. You're going to go to Tools, and then what you're going to do is you're going to come all the way down here. Remember you guys clicked on e-postcard? Because you sent that at noontime. So what you're going to do is, now that you're at their home at 7 o'clock on Thursday night, I'm not going to click listing presentation yet, because there's something really cool to the right here. Do you guys see this print PDF button? Remember this, your phone is a Wi-Fi hotspot. You're going to plug it in, you're going to show them, you're going to put your laptop on their kitchen counter, in the dining room, wherever you're going to show it. And when you close and they go, wow, 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 and you close your laptop, the wow walks out the front door with you. Click that print PDF. It'll print, it's 17 pages of your flip book. Print it, leave it behind. So leave behind your flip book presentation so that they realize, oh, it was Grant that gave me this really cool, these are the things that Grant's going to do to help sell my home as compared to some of the other realtors.
Do you have a print off of the listing?
I can just show it to, I don't, but let's just click print PDF. Actually, when are you asking, would you?
Right.
Oh, no, what I'm saying, is that the question? I printed ahead of time.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking if you right now physically had a copy that we could see what it looks like.
Well, it's going to be, if you go through the listing presentation, it's going to be each one of these screens.
Okay.
So let's just click on listing presentation. And this is one of 3 formats. It looks like a flip book. The other ones are full screen. They're just different. It's like picking artwork. I can never tell you, one realtor likes this, somebody likes layout 2, someone likes layout 3. The important thing is, now you're in front of them at 7 o'clock. You've looked at this, a couple of your professionals, you've practiced this, you're ready to present to them. This is not a substitute for what HomeSmart and Keller Williams and anybody else already has for you, or Charles Rudenberg. You guys
don't have anything, so don't worry about it.
Okay, so again, this doesn't have to substitute, but maybe this is the substitute. But the thing is, your client is going to look at pictures, right? It's the first time they're seeing this. You guys don't have to be the best salespeople, but you have to be the best readers. You're reading to the left side, they're looking to the right side. That is the front of Glenn and Rose's house, your client. And aren't they mentally saying, that's the front of our house? So they're going, wow, they're paying it, they're going, it's not just a generic house in Naperville or something like that. So here's what, so as you're sitting down, you're going, hey, Glenn and Rose, the goal of my online marketing strategy is to create demand amongst multiple qualified buyers so they compete to buy your home. And they go, that's our house. Here's your flip book. You go, Glenn and Rose, the core of my marketing strategy is to create for you a custom property website. And by the way, any of this verbiage in here is totally customizable. If you want to change it, there's an edit button. You go in there, you can change it. It says there's 17 pages, right? You see 17 pages under here. I got some realtors that have made it 25 pages because they've inserted some of their company's list stuff in there. I've got others who said I'm making it 12 pages because I'm not going to do some of the stuff. So, I mean, it's your listing presentation. Make it work for you. I just don't want you to feel like you're static and you got to do just what this says. So, Glenn Rose, it's with its unique website address, buyers can have direct access to HD photos and information about your property. Glenn and Rose, let me show you what I've already created for you. And again, Glenn Rose, and then you're going to take them through what you've already created. You're going to say, I've created this really cool photo gallery. And again, you may have captioned some that says the front yard more curb appeal than you never asked for. You may have captioned some of them. Glenn and Rose, I've got this beautiful virtual tour. And if all the pictures are HD, I can go full screen. If we do an open house, I notice that you have in your family room there, you have a 60-inch flat screen. On any of the open houses, we're going to be tethering my laptop to your flat screen. There'll be music playing for ambiance during the open house. People will see all 25, 35 pictures in HD quality as they walk around your open house. Kind of a cool thing. Glenn and Rose, I've already created for you what's called a property map, because as people look into the internet, find this property website in the internet, they're going to want to know where it is on a map and possibly even get directions. They want to physically drive to see what the neighborhood is like. They like the house, but how's the neighborhood? So if they want driving directions, they can put their cell phone number right in here. They hit the go button. What will download into that person's cell phone will be a MapQuest and directions to get to your home. I, as the Rockstar Realtor, I will get a text message. I will get an email message. I will contact that person because they have an interest in knowing how to get to your particular home. I'll try to make sure that they understand all the many benefits and beautiful features of your home. Glenn and Rose, I've also created already for you. The cool thing at your listing presentation, unlike the realtor number one who was there yesterday, you're telling them, I've already created. Everybody else is saying, I will create. I will create brochures. I will create. You're saying, I've already created this really cool aerial view that shows where your home is located. With what I've created for you, people can actually fly around the neighborhood. They can actually make it even bigger. And they can see what the neighborhood actually looks like. Am I the white elephant, or are there other beautiful homes of similar size and similar value in the neighborhood? Kind of a nice feature. Glenn and Rose, I've also already created for you a street view. A street view allows them to get into a virtual car and they can drive the neighborhood. Obviously, it shows where this home is located, and I'm still waiting for, there it is. The Google car, the virtual car is here. I'm not going to drive the neighborhood now, but what I will do is with this compass, I'm going to take a look around the neighborhood. I want to see, does my neighbor have rusty automobiles, junk cars, chicken coops, or is it kind of just a beautiful neighborhood? People are maintaining their lawns well, etc. So it's kind of a cool thing, and if they wanted to, they could get into the virtual car and drive the neighborhood. Again, very nice feature that you've already created for people to get the idea of where this house is located and what's in the neighborhood. I've already created for you payment information. Again, I won't click on it now, but it'll show 30-year fixed rate, 15-year fixed rate, and adjustable rate. I've already created for you a Find Out More Information tab. With Find Out More Information, people are going to be able to find out, they can ask a question. Hey, I noticed that the first floor, I noticed the second floor. Does it come with a basement? Is it finished or unfinished? How tall are the ceilings? With that, they're really trying to get judgment about, is it usable space or not? All they have to do is put the question in, they put in they solve the word puzzle here, hit submit, it comes directly to you, the realtor, and you can answer the question. Glenn and Rose, they can also request a showing from the internet. They can put in their name, phone number, and email. They can decide they want to come in the morning. They can put a comment in there, I want to bring my 6 children, let them run around the house and see if they like this as a nice place to play around. Glenn and Rose, I also have already mapped all the area schools to help you with your young children decide what are some of the better schools in the area. You notice that there is a targeted area here. The key here is the A schools are in green, the B schools are in blue. I don't think you want your children going to D and F schools. So again, once you go below there, all the A schools are first listed first. This is pre-kindergarten to 5th grade. This is 2nd through 5th, 1st through 3rd. They get into middle school, 6th through 8th. They can click on any one of these sites. They go to the school's website. They can see what their mission statement is. They can, talk about, what kind of programs they have, what kind of before school, after school, lunch programs, etc. So again, you're providing all this already, have created this for them. Glenn and Rose, I also have, if we have special documents, for example, if somebody had a stucco home, a drive-it home, they were giving out a moisture-free warranty. If you wanted to put up here seller disclosures, if it was a condo, you wanted to put up condo declarations and bylaws. You can upload unlimited number of documents. Glenn and Rose, is there anything, we can put up a plat of survey so people can see, your lot lines, etc. If they were thinking of putting on a deck or something like that. Glenn and Rose, I've also already created city demographics. I won't click on it now, but it's gonna show them census information. If they had young children, the census information is going to tell them the average age of people in the neighborhood. If the average age was 60 years and older, they probably aren't interested in bringing their children with little red wagons because they don't have anybody to play with. But if it shows the average age, being younger, they would probably be more interested in the neighborhood. Glenn and Rose, what's really important is you see this print brochure button. When people are looking in the internet, I've chosen one of 9 brochures. I would like to get your opinion later on. I'm going to show you later on all 9 brochures. You tell me which one you would like to be featured in your property website. This is the one that is featured currently. It is layout number 1. It does showcase not only the front of the house, it shows the listing agent, contact information. It's really a beautiful brochure. People in the internet, if they look at 20 houses, will want to print a brochure, set it aside, and will come back for further, usually when they print them is because they actually physically want to go out and call the realtor up and say, I'd like to get an appointment to see this house. Okay, so Glenn and Rose, that is the property website that I've already created for you. Glenn and Rose, I'm also going to produce a full motion virtual tour that will be featured on your website, and it'll also broadcast out to key realtor sites. Again, you can show them this is a sample of what I've already created for you. If you've already demonstrated by clicking on the buttons on the property website, you don't have to go through the demonstration. But this should have music associated with it. So here's your virtual tour that we were looking at before a little bit. This again is something that you can demonstrate that you've already created for them. Glenn and Rose. If you desire, I'll produce a panoramic tour for the main rooms of your property. It's a dynamic way to give depth and perspective to your home, allowing buyers to imagine living there. You need to make a note. Slide 4 and slide 6, you want to stop the people and demonstrate your technological ability. What I mean there is, this is panoramic. What you're going to do is you have your phone with you at the listing presentation. You're probably sitting in the kitchen or in the dining room. If you're in the kitchen, every phone has a pano mode in it. You set it to pano and you say, Glenn and Rose, your kitchen looks beautiful. Is it a featured room of the house? Probably Rose would say, yes, it is a featured room of our house. What you do is you stand up and a panoramic would be 180 degrees, right? You take this out, my phone's an idiot-proof phone for Glenn. It tells me the direction I even have to move my phone. So you start moving along, you say, And these are the glass beveled cabinetry, and this is the entry to the butler's pantry, and this is the stainless steel appliances, and this happens to be the entry to the dining room. And so with that, you've gone 180 degrees. It then will show, just like whenever you take a normal picture with your phone, there's a little preview in the lower left corner. You hit it, you take your fingers and you open it up. You then go back through it with them, and this is the entry to the butler's pantry, and this is the glass beveled cabinetry. This is the stainless steel appliances. And they go, would you like that added to your property website? Are they going to say no? It's a beautiful pano of their kitchen. Are there any other rooms of the house that you'd like in panoramic mode? Your master bedroom, maybe your master bath. Oh, you have a wine cellar. Would you like the wine cellar in panoramic? Oh, Rose, you have a beautiful rose garden out there. Would you like your garden in panoramic? It takes you how much longer did it take you to do the kitchen? 10 seconds? Each room would take you 10 seconds. To the cellar, by the way, did the realtor on the previous day, were they offering panoramics and demonstrating how easy it is to do it? I don't think so. So what you're doing is on slide 4, stop and demonstrate, how to do the kitchen. They'll think you're wonderful. Glenn and Rose, another key feature is pinpoint mapping with bird's eye aerial views from Bing and Google Street Views. These tools give buyers valuable information about your property and the surrounding area. You guys saw how we could fly around the neighborhood as if we're in a helicopter. So you're just saying that this again would be one of the features that you will create for people to get a better understanding of the neighborhood. Slide 6, stop and demonstrate. Just like I made you guys take out your cell phones. At this point in time, remember you sent this at 2 o'clock to Glenn and Rose, but what if Glenn was busy? What if Rose was busy and we really didn't open up, that email and try it? So what you do is you say, Glenn and Rose, I sent this to you at 2 o'clock. Would you do us a favor? Take out your phone. I want you to see the mobile application that's already been created for you. I've reserved a unique text code for your home. Buyers can text to receive photos and information in their phone. And I, your Rockstar agent, I'll receive a text. Now, the number here, this is my teaching one. It says text 1. The actual number will always be in your flip book. So you don't have to worry about, what number am I supposed to tell them to put into their phone. This will always tell you the number. You make them go through it, have them, after it comes up in their phone, have them hit the .mobi, have them click menu, have them hit photo gallery, have them look at all the pictures, and they go, wow. The cool thing is, when you leave, it's still in their phone. That's a nice remembrance that you were there and that you have this type of technology, this type of an approach. Glenn and Rose, today's tech-savvy consumer can scan this QR code to get photos and details about your property. I'll produce a separate QR code to track the responses from various media. The system gives you 2 QR codes. One is on the flyers, so people can scan it and download the property website. The other is a QR code that you can put into realtor magazines or newspaper, so you don't have to be as verbose in the newspaper and say, for more information about this house, scan this code. When they scan it, it pops up the complete property website into someone's phone. Glenn and Rose, SignWriter. My recommendation to all of you is call up Agent Marketing and see if you can't get a free one of these sign writers. I would go to my listing presentation with this already in hand. There's about 12 different styles. I can't tell you which one you're going to like. Look at them. Tell them, hey, I want this style. I want the text numbers as big as possible. The whole purpose of the sign writer is if somebody from Curb can see the text numbers, I want them to be able to text and get more information about this property. You can order it that way. Yeah, this is my sample. I walk around without the holes in it.
It'll ask you which size you want.
Agent marketing.
Yep.
No,
Yeah.
different.
The property property website company. Agent Marketing.
So he could be mixing it up with HomeSmart
Right.
agent services.
Yes, I am. Which one are we talking about?
Agent Marketing.
Right.
Agent Marketing.
Agentmarketing.com.
And again, if you can get sign writers made cheaper, because these are like $17.
Yeah.
If you can get them made cheaper, then get them made cheaper. The important thing is make sure you put the right numbers on the sign. The system gives you the numbers that need to be on the sign. The important thing is you're demonstrating to Glenn and Rose, I'm going to provide you with a sign writer. Because don't you believe, Glenn and Rose, that today's people, in today's environment, more people would rather text than call. Your yard sign has your picture, has your contact information at HomeSmart or Charles Rutenberg or Keller Williams. Are they going to try and call you, or would they rather just text and get the full property website downloaded into their phone. Yes, you agree they'd rather text. Well, let's get this on your yard sign. Let's use this technology to see if we can't capture more buyers for you. And Glenn and Rose go, yeah, glad you're doing that. By the way, yesterday's realtor didn't have a sign writer, wasn't even talking about using a sign writer to capture more buyers. So again, I'm liking you guys a lot more. Glenn and Rose. Flyers. I've already created for you 9 different flyers. Buyers can download and print a flyer about your property directly from your property website. It includes text codes so they can quickly retrieve more photos and details on their phone. Glenn and Rose, I will be showing you the 9 flyers. I want you to pick the one that you would like for people to see about your home when they click on the print brochure button. Glenn and Rose, broadcasting your property into the internet. Since 90% of the buyers start their search online, I'll market your home on key real estate sites like Zillow, Trulia, and many more. They're looking at all the different sites. These are just some of the sites. Again, if you guys do much more than that, you can say we put you into 32 different sites. We put you into 101 sites. But the major sites are going to be right here. And that's, the important thing is that you're letting them know that you'll be sending them off once they sign your listing agreement. Once it goes live, you'll be sending them a printout of all the different realty sites where their home can be found. Glenn and Rose. Optimizing for Google being the #1 search engine through strategic use of meta tags, keywords, and unique SEO page coding just for your home. Your Rockstar agent, will help get your property ranked well in Google searches. Because agent marketing is nationwide from New York to California, because you're on their system, and because of the strength of the property websites, people will be able to find these property websites within Google.
So are you able to pick like certain keywords then, or how do they operate?
You can. There's a separate class. It's not one of the 8, but I have what's called a Google class for just the property websites, and I show you then how to get it more highly ranked within Google. One of the things that helps it without going through, because that's kind of a techie class.
Sure.
But if you don't want to be techie, if you go to the one class because Google owns YouTube, so if you do a good job and it's not real hard to get you go to that class, when you come out, you'll almost always get your virtual tour on page 1 of YouTube. So when people put in, I'm looking for a 4-bedroom home for sale in Naperville, if you've got an agent marketing virtual tour and you go to the class and you redo the title and you put in more, because they come up with some keywords, you put in more keywords, your 4-bedroom home for sale in Naperville is going to be #1 in YouTube. So you'll see those that don't retitle them and don't put in the keywords, they're going to get very few views, because all systems, including agent marketing, put them into YouTube by address. That's the downfall of those computers. They're just dumb boxes. So when people make property websites for 123 Main Street, well, it goes into YouTube as this is the home at 123 Main Street. But unfortunately, buyers don't know the address of their next home. They do know their needs. I need a 4-bedroom and I need it in Naperville. So again, kind of a cool thing to be able to demonstrate. And what I would do at this point, after you go to that class, it's going to dawn on you guys, I would have in my briefcase, when you get to this slide, your other clients where you have them on page 1 of YouTube, because I'll have it there by city, I'll have it there by zip code, I'll have it there by subdivision, or if you're in Chicago, by area, because there's Lincoln Park, there's Wicker Park, there's Uptown, there's different parts or areas of Chicago. You'll be #1 there, and you'll be #1 by school district. So, I mean, if you can show that as a show and tell piece at your listing presentation, it's powerful for them to say, wow, you're going to get my virtual tour on page 1 like this. Love it. Another leave behind piece. You left 17-page flip book. Now you're leaving behind your YouTube. Also, going back here, I think it's the next one. It is. Here, in one of our classes, we post you into 8, your listing goes into 8 of the busiest social media sites. Each page, Facebook is its own page, Twitter is its own page, LinkedIn is its own page, Instagram its own page. And so you're sending off this 8-page report to your seller. I would keep several of those copies in my briefcase. And when I'm doing a listing presentation and this one comes up, I'd say, To make it easy for viewers to spread the good word about your property through one-click buttons, I'm going to be able to post your website. I'll be able to email it out and socially post it into 8 of the busiest social media sites. Here's a copy of what I just did for a recent client of mine. And they're going to see that they can actually go into Facebook and find it, and they're going to go into Twitter, and they can go into LinkedIn, and they're going to go, this is really cool. It's not just talk. You're showing them what you did for a previous client. You become so much more credible. Glenn and Rose. To further draw buyers to your website, I will feature your property on my personal website. If you guys don't have personal websites, in the YouTube class, the second half of the class is I do create a personal website for you guys through Agent Marketing. It's free. It's going to have about 20 different tabs on it. It's going to be very powerful, and you'll see the strength of it. We will put your featured property. So as we're going to try and automate this event, what you're going to do is when you put a listing into the MLS, it'll automatically, without you pressing buttons, create the property website in Agent Marketing. It'll automatically create the virtual tour and put it into your YouTube account. So automatic. So MLS to Agent Marketing to YouTube without you touching buttons. Kind of cool. So we're gonna get that onto your personal site. It'll also, if we set it up properly, it'll also go onto your Facebook business page, and it'll be a tab on your Facebook business page as My Listings. So any listings you have in Agent Marketing will also be on your Facebook business page. Glenn and Rose, international buyers continue to invest in U.S. properties. Your property will be accessible to them online, and your website will be instantly translated. We need to change that. Again, remember we said we could edit these things. It's not 8 languages, it's 64 different languages. So where is this? You came over here. If you played the property website, underneath the property website, there is a language button. Grant, what language do you want?
Urdu.
Where is that?
The U.
Urdu. There it is. All your buttons got translated into Urdu. All of your thumbnails into Urdu. So your contact information, everything is in Urdu. Not that I know what that is, but it's, you know, again, could be Spanish, could be French, could be German, could be Italian, could be Chinese. You know, they're big buyers of real estate. So I'm going to go back to English.
Now it doesn't go on the international market, does it?
It does not go onto the international market. I have a realtor that does a lot of international work, and he posts these things. He translates it into whatever language that he might be working with, and he puts them out there on I don't know what international sites, but he's posting them out there on these international sites. So yep, he's one of the guys who's using the translator. Glenn and Rose. To stimulate immediate interest in your home, I'm going to email an announcement, my e-postcard. You did get it at noontime, did you not? Maybe yes, maybe no. They got it. Maybe they didn't look at it. So once again, you're going to remind them that to stimulate immediate interest in your home, I'm going to email an announcement with a link to your website to key agents. My job as your Rockstar agent is I'm going to let all the other agents in my office know this is the latest listing of mine. I'm also going to send it out to my past clients. Perhaps my past clients have a friend, a family member that might be interested in your home. Your job, Glenn and Rose, is what I sent this to you. Should you decide to list with me, is for you to send it out to your family, to your friends, to your business associates, letting them know that your home is for sale. Glenn and Rose, thank you for your time. Let me know if you have any questions. May I bring on my listing agreement at this time and have you sign it? If they're not ready at that point in time, go back to your killer listing presentation. We just finished number 3. Number 4, property business cards. What you're going to find is, and again, it's kind of hidden here, is that when we get into like FSBOs and we get into expireds, there is a flower pot or there is a coffee cup that you guys are going to decorate for purposes of delivering to FSBOs or for delivering to expireds. I teach you in those classes how to create 30 property business cards. They're really your business card, but turned over to the backside. What I teach you guys to do is how to print on gum labels that are 3 across, 10 down, 30 to a page. We're going to take the gum labels off, put them on your business card. There's about 4, 5, 6 of them that'll fit into a coffee cup or into the flower pot. So once you get them to say, yes, I would like to have a meeting with you, if you used up 4 of them, there's still 26 sitting on that sheet. You printed them. Are you gonna let them just go and sit there? What you're gonna do is take 26 of your business cards, take 20, take 12, however many you want to give away, and at your listing presentation, put a nice rubber band or a nice ribbon on it and give it to the client. Glenn and Rose, I've already created 26 property business cards. Do you notice it has the name of the website, 10801 Crystal Spring Drive? Notice it has thumbnail information. Notice it has the text number on there too. So again, you want them, you're on the other side. You're saying, Glenn and Rose, please feel free to take these property business cards and hand them out to your family, to your friends, to your business associates, and your friends and them can, they're going to be texting 911-404 to 79564. And when they see, who's this agent that's got all this great technology? I'm thinking about buying. I'm thinking about selling. Or I'm thinking about buying and selling in the next 12 months. I'm going to keep that guy's card. So again, you want your seller to be an advertiser for you. Give them the property business cards. You got 30 of them on the doggone page. Don't just let the ink go and throw it out in the garbage. Give out the property business cards at your listing presentation. Next, Glenn and Rose. It says print the flyer brochure with a ream of paper. Go to Office Max, go to Home Depot, not Home Depot, go to Staples and buy a ream of paper, 200 sheets. Put that on the kitchen counter and then spread out 9 different brochures. Where are your brochures? If you go back here to Agent Marketing, if you go over here to Tools, remember we were down here before, we printed the PDF, the listing presentation, the e-card. Just 2 up from that, it says Property Flyers. When you click on it, you got Property Flyers, you click Select the Design. Does everybody see Layout 1, Layout 2, 3? So I mean, this was Layout 1 that we looked at. But let's say, for sake of discussion, you like Layout 7. Perfect. The point is, it's not you that should like it. You want the seller to like it. You want to give options. My realtor gave me the option of what brochure is going to be in the circular tube up front on the front lawn and what's going to be out there in the internet. See, what you do is, if it was me, I'd go to Staples, I'd buy not photograph paper, but right next to the photograph paper is this real shiny brochure paper. I put 9 sheets into my color printer and I print all 9 of these and I'd lay them out on this ream of paper and say, Glenn and Rose, I've created 9 brochures for you. Which one would you like when people click on the print brochure button on your property website for people to see? Kind of cool. Did the realtor the day before give them 9 different flyers, brochures? It took you 20 minutes to create this property website. What we're trying to do is get as much out there and show them, you want to win this $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 listing. This isn't time to keep it a secret that you've got 9 brochures, but I'm not going to tell them. I did a mobile application for it, but I'm not going to tell you I did a mobile application. Of course, you're going to tell them all this stuff. So again, you'll show them that this is the 9 different flyers and give them a ream of paper. Glenn and Rose. Then you're telling them that you'll give them what's called a hits report. A hits report shows them in agent marketing where it's being found in realty sites, where their home is being found in social media sites. Is it being found in Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com? Is it being found in Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram? So those are kind of cool things to get. It's a set it and forget it. You set it up, you send a copy to yourself weekly, you send a copy to the customer, and every week they're getting an update as to where their property website's being found. Last but not least, Glenn and Rose, this is the only thing I have not created in advance for you. If I were you, because you may have done this for another client, I would be prepared to open it up in the internet and show them a live one of these. But Glenn and Rose, I will create for you what's called a Facebook listing page. Rose, can you tell me what is a featured room of your home? Is it the kitchen? She'll say, absolutely. I love cooking in the kitchen. I love when the family comes over. We have islands there. People sit around, have a glass of wine. We have great conversation. Great, Rose. I'm going to put your kitchen as the cover image on this Facebook listing page. The second thing is I'm going to put the front of your home in the profile picture. Rose, do you notice that in this example, 10801, the name of your Facebook page will be the address of your home. You do live at 1160 Biscay Court. That will be the name. So you, Rose, can give it out. You, Glenn, can give it out to anybody else in Facebook, to family, to friends, and say, take a look at our home in Facebook. I, your Rockstar agent, I will boost that page to see if we can't attract buyers from out there in Facebook land, out there in that are interested in possibly purchasing your home. Glenn and Rose, what I will do is I'm going to post 3 things to this Facebook page. 1, the complete property website with all 8-10 buttons. The second thing I'm going to post on there is your virtual tour, because people like to see virtual tours. The third thing I'm going to do is I'm going to post how to get pre-approved and how affordable your home is. So that I promise to do for you. It's the only thing I haven't been able to do in advance. But should you decide to do business, if I'm meeting or exceeding your expectation, should I bring out my listing agreement and shall we move forward? So with that, you'll ask them, are there any other questions that you can answer at this point in time? Shall I bring out my listing agreement? Shall I sign up? You might find too that through this whole process, because I've heard back from other realtors, people say, stop, you're killing me. If you do all this, I'm more than happy to sign up with you. So you may not even finish all 7 steps, have them sign up. If they don't sign up, okay, first off, let me ask, if you guys did these 7 steps, do you think that you would win more listing presentations?
Yes.
Okay, if for some reason somebody is stubborn and says, I have another realtor appointment the next day, I'm very favorably impressed with you, but I'm not going to make a decision today. We're going to meet with this other person and then we'll make a decision over the weekend. Then you need a follow-up document. And that's what I hope I'm a half hour over. Give me 10 more minutes of your time because I think this is important. It's a 34-page document that I want you guys, I'm going to call it post-listing presentation, that you're going to give to them to make sure that you just knock it out of the park. So
The only time this is gonna happen is when they say, my cousin is a realtor.
Right, I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
You should ask that before you even set the meeting if they already have.
Well, are you saying you don't want the meeting?
I'm saying I don't wanna waste my time with someone that's gonna already have a family member do it. I mean, I wanna
usually,
clear that out of the way.
do people meet with other realtors if they're going to list
Yes.
with their cousin?
Always.
They do?
Yep.
Why do they waste people's
I won't
time?
say always, but I like them like that.
I'm going to list with my cousin Louie. Yeah, I want you to come in.
Yeah.
I guess I'm with Grant. I would ask that question up front because if you got, do you have a family member that you're going to be talking to that's a realtor? I'd be saying, you know what? I got better things to do with my time. But that's just me. So I want to be, in other words, I want you guys to be greenfish in a fair, competitive environment. If
Yeah,
they're,
I mean, if they said, we're probably gonna list with my aunt.
Good luck.
Right.
Yeah, let me know when it hits the market, I'll bring my buyers back.
you got to remember, my goal is to get, if I was in your shoes, I would want to get 1 self-generated lead every day. And if somebody along the way, as I'm trying to get a listing appointment and they, they're interested, be it expired, be it a FSBO, and they said that they have a relative that's a realtor, I don't mind firing people. I mean, I fire people that come to me for loans. If you're going to be a jerk, I get too many nice people that I work with. Go to somebody else and yell at somebody else. Or if you're going to be, if you're going to list with your cousin,
Thank you.
it's likely you're going to list with your cousin. Why don't you go talk to your cousin? I got better things to do.
I think most people are like this. They know of another realtor.
Mm-hmm.
They
Most
like
people
it.
know 7 realtors.
They want an
It's okay.
excuse.
I don't
They're
care.
gonna be the green fish.
I don't care if they know a realtor. I just don't want them to be their relative, because then they feel that they've got to give an obligation to their relative. I go back to Grant. I know 50 I know hundreds of realtors.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm going to listen to I'm listening for the guy who's the greenfish that's going to, I want you to stand out. You can talk to Realtor 1 and Realtor 3, but if I'm Realtor 2 and I stand out, bingo, that's what I want. And you want that as a salesperson.
Yeah.
You want a competitive advantage. What is your unique? Unique is the same thing as green. What is your unique selling proposition? Well, I provide all this marketing for you. Did Realtor 1 or Realtor 3 give you all this? Well, no. Well, then I'm unique. Sign up with me. I just don't want him to be obligated, as Kenneth said, that, well, he's Uncle Louie and I feel an obligation. Then it's an emotional, it's not a rational.
My best friend is a realtor, so my best friend is top agent, realtor, and then I'd be like, good luck.
Just depends on their commitment to that individual person. That's something you should, that's pretty much right away. Just
Okay, so here's where we are. They decided that they were going to give the third realtor an opportunity. Okay, so that means they're going to make a decision. It was Thursday night at 7 p.m. So they're meeting Friday night at 7 p.m. with the last realtor. You're going to deliver this document either Friday night or Saturday morning, Friday at any point in time, meaning the next day, or on Saturday, to make sure that they fully understand you are the green fish. You're the one that they should sign up with. So let's quickly look at this up on the screen here. It's 34 pages. This is your master, and I'm going to change it. It'll take us all 10 minutes to change it into the document for this 10801 Spring Drive. So you're going to put their house. Oh, by the way, it's 34 pages. Now imagine this. The front cover is clear. You go to Staples, go to Office Max, and you get one of those clear binders that wraps around. You put the binder on the side. So when it's clear, they're seeing their home, their property website right through that clear plastic. Okay? And now it's going to have their website name, their text number. It's going to say, Dear Glenn and Rose, thanks for taking the time to review my package. I've got a 201-step proven program for selling your home. It includes questions you should ask other realtors. You're going to sign your name. It's going to have your picture, your name, your mission statement, your core values, your honesty and integrity at all times. You continue to improve our services to exceed your expectations. I create and nurture a fun, exciting, creative, and productive work environment. Your name, Grant Griffith's amazing 201-step program. By the way, this is a Word document. When you start looking at the 201 things, if you say, I don't do 5 of these things, take your calculator out. 5 from 201 is 196. It's now your 196-step program. I don't care if it's 201, 200, 196, 180. It's multiple steps. What you're doing is you're making sure that you memorialize all the different steps you take as a realtor so they don't think that you just put a yard sign in the front lawn. You're telling them, I do a lot of work to earn my commission. So here's the multiple things. I won't take your time right now to go through them. You guys can do that. Because again, after this class, I'll send you an email with this document, with the instructions. So there's your 201 things. After that, it says all agents are not equal. If any of you have credentials, that you've gotten higher credentials, the document will ask you to put them in here. If you have no credentials, it's a Word document. It's 34 pages. You'll delete this page. It's now what? A 33-page document. Don't go highlighting that if you don't have any credentials. Then what you can do is, this is your company, HomeSmart Realty's Easy Exit Listing Agreement. As Glenn and Rose, I like the fact that you're letting me know that if for some reason I'm unhappy with your personality, with your work, with your service, with your marketing, I can exit. Great. You're not going to hold me there for the 6 months. Suggested questions for other listing agents. Did you ask these questions or not? Then you're going to be going through fact versus fiction. The 5 essential ingredients that comprise the successful sale is condition of your home, the location of your home, the marketing of your home, the terms and the price. And so it's going to go through each of those different terms. Price is the number one most important factor. Yeah, making the wrong decision on price can be very painful. It can't be too high, it can't be too low, and it goes through pricing guidelines. Here's for something really cool, thinking about selling. This is nice to get feedback from your client saying, please pay attention. I know what page, this is page 21. Let me know what you're most concerned about. Is it advertising and open houses and showing procedures? Is it pricing, closing costs, or commissions? Is it marketability, financing, communications? So they can give you some feedback. What's the benefits of proper pricing? Faster sale, less inconvenience. Drawbacks of overpricing. I've already created for you this really, reminding them, I've already created this really cool text number. Put in the text number. I've already created or will be creating a Homebuyer Facebook listing page. Perhaps we can draw people in from Facebook land who might be logical buyers for your home. I'm going to put you into the internet. I would delete this page. We're not going to teach you how to do a Facebook neighborhood page, although you can. I'm going to help you out with contract and negotiation with the offer, the rejection, or making counter offers. Here's some common myths. My team sells a lot of real estate. Perhaps they're going to be too busy to pay attention to my listing. The truth is, the myth is I should select the agent that suggests the highest listing price. The truth is. And so you're going to go through myths and truths. You're then going to say, do you have any questions as you've gone through this process that have been unanswered? Please note them here so that I can answer them for you. And would you mind, for purposes of doing the MLS listing, letting people know, why did you buy this house 10 years ago, Glenn and Rose? What did you fall in love with? Why did you buy this house? Why should someone else want to buy this house? And that's what they're going to point here, and you're probably going to use it in your MLS in the remarks. Last but not least, you're going to put the gray-haired guy in there and say, and for anybody who's interested in your home, my team is going to get them pre-approved free of charge. With that, let's now go back to the instructions on page 1 of my handout, and let's quickly show you how you're going to do this. It says on your instructions, it says bring up the pre-listing template. I just did. I went through it with you. Copy the master each time, click the edit button, and then click the find tab and click the replace tab within Word. So I'm going to show you where this is in a second. What you're going to do is you're going to do find and replace. The very first one you're going to do is your company, and you're going to replace it with your company name. So here's what I'm talking about. You're going to bring up this 34-page master. You're going to go over here to your Word document. Word has...
I'm sorry, you said you're sending us this Word document?
It is not. It's something I've created.
Gotcha.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come over here to, do you see on the right hand side here under Word it says find and replace, click replace. You get this really cool little template that comes down. I've already in this master document, I've got what's called these variables, your company, your name. I got these variables. I don't want to go through 34 pages and see what I have to replace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in what's called, what does it say, your company?
Yep.
And it has to be exactly as you see. If it's a capital Y and a capital C and a space between your and company, that's what you need to type in. The computer is only as smart as...
Smart as what?
The operator.
The operator. Why can't I get... What am I doing wrong? All right, let's try it
Did you
again.
do a space after company?
No, I'm trying to... That is...
Can you do a space?
Oh, I know why. I'm looking down at my keyboard and it's the arrow looks like a caret. I'm hitting the wrong key is what I'm hitting. It's error, it's operator error. There it is. Make sure that this is the right one too. All right, we got that. Now, let's, for sake of discussion, let's say this is Home Smart Realty. With that, you're always going to click on what's called Replace All. So when you click Replace All, it says, hey, I found it 11 times in the document, and I've replaced your company with Home Smart Realty. Cool. What's the next one on your instruction say?
Your name.
Your name. So we're going to come over here to your name. And what we'll do is we'll put in here Grant Griffith. Replace all. Found it 9 times, replaced it. What's after your name?
Website name.
Website name. Okay, so now we're going to go over here to agent marketing. the name of the website. I think it's playing in one of these frames. Maybe. Here it is. All right. You'd be fine. You see it, to me it looks dark up to .com. You would be fine if you took the MLS Max /home. You don't need to, but if you took it, you'd be perfectly fine. You just take the name of the website, copy it, go back over here to your Word document, and take out Grant and put in the name of your website. With that, hit replace all. Found it twice, you're good. What's after website name?
Your city name.
So type in your city name. That property was in Palos. And even if it's not, we'll say it's in Palos. It's just for purposes of teaching. So this is in Palos Park. And hit replace all. Found it twice. What's after your city name?
Your local newspaper.
If it was like Naperville, it might be the Naperville Sun. I don't know in Palos, so today for purposes of teaching, let's just go and call it the Chicago Tribune. And with that, click replace all, and it found it once. What's after your local newspaper?
Awards and designations.
I'll skip that for now because, again, probably a lot of you don't have awards and designations. But if you did, you would put them in there, and it would, that one page that we talked about deleting, you wouldn't delete, you'd leave it, and it would populate there. What's after your awards?
Your phone number.
Your phone number. And Grant, what is your phone number with area code?
630-746-6818.
Okay, and with that, hit replace all. Found it once. What's after your phone number?
Text number.
Okay, text number. I happen to know, I mean, you can go back to agent marketing, but we all put in 911-404. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and put in 911-404 from agent marketing, hit replace all. It found it twice. What's after your text number?
Name.
But what's in the carrots?
Oh,
Name.
sorry.
So seller's name. In this case, sometimes you may not know the seller's full names, etc. So what I typically do is I just go owners of, and I think this is 10801. Cool. With that, hit replace all, and found it once. What's after name?
Your county. The last one.
Cool. You see, it doesn't take long. Your county. Okay, and that happens to be in Cook. Hit replace all. All right. With that, go to your next set of, go down on the instructions. The instructions then say, after you've done the find and replace, number 3 says, delete any of the 201 steps. So you're going to review your steps. If you said, I'm only going to do 199, it's telling you these are the pages where the word 201 steps is located. Page 1, page 2, page 4, and page 11. Okay? If you're doing all 201, don't make any adjustments. Number 3, download the Jing project. You're going to capture the front of the property website and put it on page 1. I use Jing, it's screen capture software. So it says Jing, the front of the property website, and paste it into page 1. Okay, I can do that. Go over here to, here's your full property website, right? Here's Jing, this little ray of sunshine. The crosshairs, the capture hairs are here. When I move over, I got the crosshairs. It's always upper left to lower right.
You said that's a screen capture software?
It's free. I use it all the time, every day of my life.
What's the manufacturer?
There's, good point. There's about 8 different sources they'll allow you to download it. Only do the first one. It's from Tech, T-E-C-H, Smith. TechSmith is the software developer. You know that that version will be virus free. There's other people that'll say, I'll let you download Jing, but there's no guarantee they're not going to download a virus onto your computer. And it's free, correct. So here you just captured this. So what you say capture. Then this is a Word document, so you then hit copy. So down here is the copy button. So now you go back to your Word document. And here we are. This was yesterday's work, right? Today, when I left clicked, you guys see the blue sizers that came out when I left clicked? All these little blue sizers came out. The computer is saying, I'm only going to pay attention to what you tell me within this blue dotted area. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste. And now I've pasted in today's work, which is this client's work. Obviously, this is an editorial comment to the realtor. Delete this image and Jing a copy of the image of the client's home here. So let's take out the editorial comment. What does the next thing on the instructions say?
Copy your picture and paste it on page 3.
And we're done then. So let's go back here to our Word document. Page 3, this is page 1, page 2. In fact, what I'm going to do here is just do a little resizing a little bit. Great. Here's page 3. That does not look like Grant to me. So what I'm going to do is, if this was Grant, which I'm just going to make it easy, because your picture would be at the bottom of the website. So if I go here and I right click and I just say copy the image, if I go back over here to the Word document, again left click, the sizers come out as you can see, right click and say paste. And there's Grant. Strange looking Grant, but it's Grant. And then what I would be doing is, I'd take out your photo. Again, that's an editorial comment. So let's see what we got here, guys. It took us maybe a little more than 10 minutes. This is now under the clear cover. We live at you already made your presentation on Thursday. You're delivering this on Friday or Saturday because they're going to make a decision. And you're making sure that you deliver 34, 33, 32 pages of solid, great information about what it is that you're going to do to help sell their home. So you're showing them, remember, I already created this really cool website. It's in yellow, http 10801 Crystal Spring Drive. I already got this great text number, 911-404. Please review this package. Dear owners, thank you for your time. I've got this proven 201-step program. Grant would sign his name in blue. Make sure it stands out. You got a big area here. Sign your name. Grant's picture, reminding them that's the guy from Thursday night. This is his mission. This is his core values, his honesty, his integrity. This is Grant's amazing 201-step program. So he's going to go through, he's not going to go through it. They're going to go through it and see all the different steps that he takes. After that, it's going to then talk about if he's got any credentials or he will have deleted this page. Then there's your easy, it says announcing HomeSmart Realty's easy exit listing agreement. Then it's suggested questions for realtors. Then it's going to be fact, condition, market, location, terms, pricing guidelines, questions that they can, ideas that they can give you, how concerned they are, drawbacks of overpricing. Here again, you're showing them that you already created 911-404 for them as their mobile application. That you're going to get them into Facebook listing page, the internet. You're going to delete the Facebook fan page, neighborhood page. You're going to help them out with contract and negotiations, myths and truths, questions that they may have they would like to, further still ask you about before they sign up. And now you're ready to get started, yet your team's going to get their people pre-approved. Put that into a nice document, drop it off with them and say, I hope that I'd like you to review this document. I hope that, I've met or exceeded your expectations. I thought that you might like to see what it is that I do to help sell your home quickly, profitably, in a hassle-free manner. So between you leaving a 17-page flip book, between you leaving 9 different brochures, between you leaving the 8-page document of how you put people into the 8 social media sites, the 4-page document of how you got them on page 1 of YouTube, now you've delivered a 34-page document, a 32-page document. I think you've done, a yeoman's job. I think that, they're ready to say, let's sign up, let's get going. Because again, my personal belief is if you guys would spend 10 minutes and create this document, if you spent 20 minutes and created the property website, and you've got all this 7-step approach, you guys should be able to knock it out of the park each and every time. What do you guys think?
That looks good, thank you.
Your homework is to, if all of you do have, you've got opened up your property website with agent marketing, so that's the only homework from class number 1. Class number 2 will be about how to market to, how to win every expired and canceled listing. Right now, you're going to start to come across canceled listings as they get closer to Thanksgiving. This is a great, great, great time for you to get in front of all those canceleds with your system that you've got here, showing them you got mobile application, you got 9 brochures, you're going to put them into realty sites, you're going to put them into social media sites, you're going to do all the things that you talked about here, but we're going to go after the expires and the canceled. And my goal, my hope for you guys is that you'll do 1 a day, because it won't take you long. Dedicate 1 a day, and you'll end up with 5 in a week, 10 and a half month, 20 at the end of the month. That could be October, have 20, have 40 by the end of November, have 60 by the end of December, have 80 by the end of January, have 120 by the time, 100 by the time you get to March 1st. Spring market's here, and you guys have 100 self-generated leads. I'm going to show you in that class, there's like 9 different follow-up pieces that I want you to drip on them. We're going to go drip, drip, call. We're going to go drip, drip, call, drip, drip, call. I want you guys to stay in front of them, stay top of mind, find out if they're still waiting till the spring market to do the marketing.